Trickstar5, what is going on, my guy? Alright, I'm gonna wait a little bit to get some people coming in. But yeah, today stream, you'll notice that there is no camera. There is no song requests. Yes, the reason for this is because this stream, I plan on uploading to YouTube. So, because we're gonna go in depth with like an actual Ritual Beast tutorial this stream. Notification Squad, what's up? The Law TTV. But that'll just be for a portion that I want to upload to YouTube, and then I also took off some of the channel point rewards, just at least until the end. And yeah, I'm gonna be removing the overlay while I'm going in over the whole thing, basically, as well. So yeah, strap on in because it might be a long one. Alright, streams are okay. Everything seems to be good. I get it, but no answer. What is my stream has me down a little. Near the end, okay? Near the end. I know it pains me to disable the Windadaki channel point redemption, but here we are. Alright. She's got that. Class so fast to see RB tutorial? Yeah. We're gonna be getting started fairly soon. Because there's a lot to go over for sure. I don't actually have a deck built. We're gonna be like building. The thing is, I want to go over a lot of stuff. It's mostly just gonna be basics, but there's also gonna be a little bit of like advanced tech and theory involved into the discussion that we're gonna have. So we're gonna be talking about like the deck's strength, the deck's weaknesses, things like we're gonna talk about the core cards, obviously, techs, what kind of techs you should play, what kind of techs you should try to avoid, or at least realize that they're not good in certain formats. Extra deck options, of course. Skills. We're gonna talk about the skills. And obviously, we're gonna show some like free-to-play variants as well, because a lot of people who like playing Ritual Beasts or like want to learn Ritual Beasts are very free-to-play. So we're gonna try and work a way to build a very free-to-play friendly list that can also do well on the ladder. We're gonna be going over like free-to-play cards you can play as well. Different builds and variants regarding the skills, the Destiny Draw builds, Endless Trap Hell builds. A lot of it's like all improvised too. So we'll see how it goes, and then obviously I'm gonna be fighting some dummies in casual, just practice duels, just to show off combos, the basic combos that we're gonna do. So like the Elder Hawk combos with and without Pangu, the Elder Pangu combos, the Hawk Wind of Return. Let's get off work. Nice. Very nice. Grind levels on Antimony and the Striker at level 40. Oh, yeah. For sure. My family, the whole family. What's up, Jeb? And then, yeah, we're going to be talking about things like what you should do when you're, like, faced with a bunch of back row, like decision point making, stuff like that. And then I'm also going to include at the end a farm version of Ritual Beast for farming assessment score. Alright, so I guess we can... Yeah, Milady what? Wait, Milady has lecture. Pays. What's going on? Alright, I think we can just, like, get into it, right? Might as well jump in right now. So, what exactly is Ritual Beast? Ritual Beast is a combo control deck with OTK potential. It revolves around using your Ritual Beast Tamers and going into your... Let me get rid of the overlay real quick, too. Let's get rid of that. There's going to be no overlay for the stream. Jeb, thank you so much for the host. The Ritual Beast deck is the farm version when the opponent's a Pepega. True. We'll talk about that as well, the strengths of that. So, we got ourselves our Tamers, our Spiritual Beasts, and then Winda, the best card in the deck and the best card in the game. The overall game plan is to break the opponent's board using cards like Petalfin, and establishing a wall of defense using Winda, and like assembling a combo where we can get multiple searches and outgrind the opponent and break the board and look for an opening to OTK. That is done with your extra deck monsters in Ulti Paleo, Ulti Canahawk, and Ulti Petalfin as a source of defense, combo, and aggression. So, what are the deck's weaknesses? We'll start off with the weaknesses right now. So, the deck can be... Hey, the Law TTV, thank you so much for the gifted subs. What the... Right away, 3 gifted subs. Yeah, straight to Abodi, Starlight Searcher, and Lordovia. Explain the purpose of each effect per Ritual Beast. Yes, I will be going over, like, the effects of the Ritual Beast, little cheeky things that happen with them, and, like, why they're being played and why some are, not being played. So, for starter, here we go. So the deck can be, depending on the meta text being run, the deck can be easily disrupted. Holy shit, so, Sean Matre, resubbing for 5 months. What's up, man? How you doing? Yeah, we got the tutorial on deck here. So, easily disruptible. If you open, you need to open specific hands to play through certain texts, for example. So it can be easily picked apart through cards like Treacherous Trap Hole. Karma Cut can be a problem depending on how you build your deck, so you need to understand how to play against those properly. A lot of turn 1 plays for the deck, specifically Winda Pass, or like obviously the Canahawk Banish Winda Pass and those kind of hands, are heavily power crept right now, or a lot of the decks that would normally have a troubled time dealing with Winda can usually deal with Winda through cards like Malevolent Sin. And Abyss Dweller being popular again through the Water deck can cause these kind of setups to be pretty abysmal. It also, with the increase of Harpy Ladies in popularity, especially now after the ban list changes, the deck has to deal with a very common side deck card in Poisonous Winds, which prevents wind monsters from being special summoned and they lose 500 attack. The whole deck revolves around special summoning, doing your searches, and tagging out. With Harpies being on the rise, being a strong wind deck as well, a lot of decks are side decking Poisonous Winds to fight Ritual Beast. So you need to have a plan to counteract that. Hey, Trickstar5, thank you so much for the gifted sub to Jeb. Jeb Hayoto. Everybody enjoy your wind emotes. For my understanding, they aren't broken, but they kill most decks. Thanks for the sub. Heck yeah, dudes. Alright. What other problems? The deck has some consistency issues at some point. You won't always get a playable hand, and a lot of the time you have to rely on back row or hand traps to turn those bricks into playable hands instead of starting off at the get-go. This could lead to some problems against matchups such as Thunder Dragon, where if you fall too far behind too quickly, it's really hard to catch back up. That being said, that matchup's not actually that bad if you open an average hand. Blue Eyes White Dragon, very, very, very prominent right now in the metagame. Ritual Beast has a very tough time dealing with Blue Eyes White Dragon unless you build your deck to fight it. Which can actually favor the matchup quite significantly if you run specific texts. The only issue with doing that is you have to sacrifice other matchups to make that matchup better. So like, for example, if you were to play Lightning Vortex Needle Sealing instead of something like Cosmic Cyclone, you'd have a much better Blue Eyes White Dragon matchup, but that would in turn make a matchup like Aroma or Triamid a lot worse of a matchup to deal with because Cosmic Cyclone is just so good at dealing with those decks. However, because those decks aren't quite as popular, you might think to lean towards playing Lightning Vortex and Needle Sealing because they're just better overall. Another big thing with the deck. It has a very, very high skill ceiling. It requires a ton of patience, and the timer can be a major problem, especially for new players, and can be very discouraging to pick up the deck. Some of that can be mitigated actually. The timer issue, you can, if you turn on voice lines in game, that'll actually give you like a couple seconds in between each action you do, which can help you. Now, obviously, it's more time to think. Now, but the thing is about, even though like, even though it has a very high skill ceiling, it does reward players who stick with the deck and have the patience to do so. It's also, so we're going to go over the strengths now. The deck is incredibly cheap to build. The whole deck is basically 3 runs through a mini box and then go into a couple other boxes for some other techs. The box that comes in, Spirit of the Beast, also comes with another deck core in Yosenju and Super Team Buddy Force, which has come and gone through the metagame a few times, and it works in a lot of decks like to this day, like Satellar Knights even as well. Top tier Blue Eyes decks didn't even make the leaderboards this month. It's all been Dark Lords. Yeah. The thing, with the changes, I think the Ritual Beast kind of gets a little bit worse, but you can still play Ritual Beast in the metagame, for sure. So other strengths about the deck, it's very evasive. There are a lot of common back row choices being played, like Fiendish Chain and Floodgate Trap Hole, that Ritual Beast can play through very effectively. And even though the core is relatively big, like once we start building something, well, you'll notice that the core is relatively big. The tech choices and playstyles are very, very flexible. We have all sorts of different variants of the deck, which can adjust with each of the techs. That deck has a lot of techs that you can play. A lot of techs. Its ability to play through common back row cannot be overlooked. Being able to beat battle traps basically always with Ulti Paleo is very important. And if we're going to be real here, it has one of the best two card combos in the entire game. Elder Cannon Hawk lets you set up an insane amount of grind potential, a lot of defense with the ability to set up an OTK for the following turn. Yeah, it's insanely good. Little disruptible, but again, you have to play around to make it not as your plays is susceptible. That's where Winda can come real in handy. So we'll go over the core cards right now. So right now, Elder, Visual Beast Tamer Elder. He is your starter card for the deck. He is your main source of combo in the deck. What he does is after you normal summon this card, you can normal summon one Ritual Beast monster during your main phase's turn in addition to your normal summon set. So that being a normal summon is very important because all of the Ritual Beast monsters share this trait that says you can only special summon Ritual Beast whatever once per turn. All the main deck monsters. So this allowing you to normal summon an additional monster, which means when you go to do your combo plays, will give you more resources on your special summons to get more searches and more mileage out of your combo. Playing against a Ritual Beast Harpy deck, and the theme was scary in legend ranking. Like, step 1 to Ritual Beast, open Elder Hawk. Yes, very, very much so. Yeah. So we got Elder. You play 2 because you have to. You can't play any more because the game will let you. You don't play any less because this is a big brain deck. And you need to know what you're doing. And, yeah. Best starter in the entire deck. The other tamer that we play is Laura. She is generally used as a follow-up. You want to be able to search her during your combos during your last search, so you have a follow-up for your next turn in case your opponent is able to break your setup. She also just happens to be the thing about the Ritual Beast is they all have like their different names, obviously, because they only be special summoned once per turn. Having more different named Ritual Beast cards in your deck will allow you to do more searches. However, there are ones that aren't very good. For example, Wen. You don't play Wen because she's just not that good, unfortunately. There's like the only times I would see Wen ever being good is like when Dark Magician was like the best deck. And like with Hang On Mac being pretty popular, your stuff being banished, being able to summon Wens, retrieve from the banish was important. But most of the time, when you're playing Ritual Beast, your cards are going to your graveyard. That's where Laura on the following turns can kind of set you all up, because that can bring back a Candlehawk from the graveyard, and that's a combo. That starts your combo. So you play one of Laura. One of Laura is pretty much mandatory. Let's next up, Winda. My favorite card. For obvious reasons. Thing about Winda. She is both a spiritual beast monster and a ritual beast tamer. This means that she can be used with herself, another copy of herself, to go into one of your fusion plays, because she counts as a ritual beast tamer and a spiritual beast monster. The extra deck monsters require one ritual beast tamer, one spiritual beast monster. Winda counts as both. You can use Winda and literally any other ritual beast card in the deck to go into your fusion. She also has some interesting game mechanics, like things involving around the game mechanics, and because when you tag out of a ritual beast monster, they're special summoned at the exact same time. So even if you have two Windas banished, you can summon both Windas. You can target one of them as your ritual beast tamer and another one as your spiritual beast monster, and they'll both get summoned on the field at the same time, assuming you hadn't summoned Winda already this turn. Now, this is incredible because it's how you build your main line of defense up to fight to stave off the opponents. You can set yourself up for the next turn afterwards. So it's almost like cheating in a sense, like using her her names as to count as both, but it's completely legal by the mechanics. You can use two Windas to go into fusion, and you can tag out into two Windas because they happen simultaneously. This effect here, though, that says you can special summon one Ritual Beast monster from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. So this can summon anything in the deck. Also, I forgot to mention what Laura does. When she's normal summoned, she special summons a Ritual Beast monster from your graveyard. She can't revive all fusions because they say they must be fusion special summoned by banish the above control, cannot be special summoned anyways. That means that Laura cannot revive them, but she can revive any other Ritual Beast main deck monster in your graveyard. Winda lets you special summon them from the deck or extra deck. So you can special summon these, even though they say they must be special summoned from your extra deck by banishing the above cards you control. This effect here ignores the summoning conditions of it, meaning you can go straight into them if Winda is destroyed by battle or card effect. You don't get Winda's effect if she's tributed. You don't get her effect if she's sent to the graveyard by like Herald of the Abyss. Not that that would matter anyway. That would negate her effect regardless. If she's bounced, she doesn't get the effect. If she's banished, she doesn't get the effect. However, if she's destroyed and banished, or destroyed in any other card zone, like if she's destroyed in your hand even, you will get her effect. And that can summon literally any of your ritual beasts from your deck or extra deck. That condition, though, you can only special summon spiritual beast tamers once per turn. So if you summon a Winda and then she's destroyed, you can't summon another Winda. This is because it's not ignoring the summoning condition. It would ignore the summoning conditions, but this is not a summoning condition. This is a restriction placed on you, the player, saying you can only special summon once per turn. So that basically wraps up Winda and what her role is. She plays a very defensive role in helping you set up for the following turns. The next biggest piece to the deck, Spiritual Beast Candlehawk. Once per turn, you can banish one Ritual Beast card from your deck face up. During your second standby phase of the card's activation, add the card banished by this effect to your hand. You can only special summon Candlehawk once per turn. So this, alongside any tamer, is how you effectively start comboing off. Because this will allow you to banish different names from your deck, which will then, in turn, result in searches. We'll talk about how the searches work with Alti Candlehawk as well when we get to that. It basically builds up resources to the banish pile. Your banish pile is basically an extra hand for this deck, effectively. Or like a secondary board. And what you want to do is you want to be able to set up specific scenarios. And really, it's just about building a board presence, setting yourself up for the following turn, and then being able to OTK. And Candlehawk does a fantastic job at doing that because it banishes anything that you want to banish. Which in a lot of cases, most of the time, it's really dependent on the situation, and we'll go over combos as well. But You definitely play 3 of Kanahawk, that's non-negotiable. Same with Winda. 2 Elder because you have to. 1 Laura is more than enough. You play 0 Wen because she's just not good enough because all your stuff that's being destroyed is being sent to the graveyard. So Wen doesn't really have that recovery aspect. The other cards now, the other Spiritual Beasts that we have, this one is optional. Spiritual Beast of Vampangu does a similar role to Kanahawk, but it's slightly different. So once per turn, you can banish 1 Ritual Beast monster from your extra deck, send 1 Ritual Beast monster with the same type as a monster from your deck to the graveyard. You can only special summon Vampangu once per turn. So, same idea. If you open up Elder and Kanahawk, that's a full combo. If you open up Elder and Pangu, that's a full combo. The only issue with Pangu is that he's really only good, if you open him in your hand, he's only good if you have Elder as well. Because it's a combo. The way these two combo with each other, like I guess if you can start the turn off with the Winda, then Pangu is technically, it's literally, you need a Tamer, you need Pangu to have combo. And if Pangu's in your hand, it's very slow, or it'll be pretty bricky and you can't really combo with it at all. Quick question though, is Petalfin the first out for a Tensi setup in the Fire Fist? With the Tensi setup? Not sure. Actually, I haven't really, I haven't actually really paid much attention to Fire Fist, because I know, at least in the past, they've had trouble with like floating decks that could float. Hamster, what's up? What's going? Nonstop DC, how you doing? Vadim? Yeah. No one will summon her after her destruction or banishment. Wait, so you can only special another Winda after her conditions are met. Well, you can special summon as long as Winda's being destroyed, you get her effect. Either by battle or by card effect. If she's like destroyed by battle and banished by like a hang on Mac or something, you still get her effect. And that actually helps you out tremendously. Alright, so yeah, Pangu. Optional card. Card is great in the deck. It is fantastic in the deck. If you open up Elder Kanahawk with Pangu in the deck, you have a very, very powerful setup that ends on like a bunch of your Ritual Beast monsters banished with live tag-outs, with that turn into tag-outs on top of that as well. The only issue with playing with it in the deck, it is kind of a brick. So you kind of have to justify yourself, think to yourself, is it worth playing the Pangu? And it kind of might mess with your extra deck ratios as well. But we'll get into that later as well. Next one. Apelio. Mandatory 1-of. You have to play 1-of. This is your grind game for in your grave control. Once per turn, during the player's turn, you can banish 1 Ritual Beast card from your graveyard. For the rest of this turn, all Ritual Beast monsters you control gain 500 attack and defense. You can only special summon, again, once per turn. So, this is how you OTK people, for the most part. Being able to sneak into Apelio into play through Ritual Beast Return is how you solidify momentum in the game. And Apelio's ability to banish your Ritual Beasts that have been destroyed or like sent to the graveyard is how you get your grind game on. It's how you, or if you're missing a Tamer that's banished, like if you have a Tamer in your graveyard but you have a Spiritual Beast that's banished, but you can use the Apelio to banish the Ritual Beast Tamer. Now, son, you have the Spiritual Beast and the Ritual Beast Tamer that are banished. It's a live tag out if you have it available. With Melfie's Fire Fist Medolchi, I don't think the new box is going to be good, honestly. Maybe UA is fine, but I don't think the new box is going to be that insane. Can you go over what a good text to run in RB? Yeah, I'll be going through that soon. After the core cards, I finish talking about the core cards, I'll be talking about the tech choices that you can play and that are worth running, that are optional, and ones that you should like maybe try to avoid. Alright. The boost on Apelio is very important because it can help secure OTKs. It's the with Apelio's boost and Ulti Kanahawk, it's 4200 damage. That's lethal. With the Apelio boost, Ulti Kanahawk and Winda or Pangu is also lethal. It's 4k damage. The boost on here can definitely matter a lot, but at the same time, there's a little flaw that we'll go over later involving the boost and the synergy with the deck. But the boost is a bonus. The main reason this card is so good is just because of the ability to banish stuff from your graveyard continuously, which allows you to set up things like the window wall, like when you tag out into double Winda, and the opponent tries to like beat over the window, you can out an ulti pedal fin. Then down the end of turn, you can tag out into, let's say, like a Paleo, an Elder that's banished. A Paleo can banish the window. Then it's on your turn. The Paleo can banish another window. You go into another ulti pedal fin for the turn. You tag on the double window, and you basically loop your opponent endlessly. Ooh, that could have waited. So a Paleo, always a one of in the deck. You generally don't want to play more. You never want to play less. Always one. Pedal fin, another mandatory card. This is like pretty much your win condition in the entire deck. It is super nice that there aren't a whole lot of things in the game that banish your stuff face down. And because of that, Pedal Fin is very recurable and is your main source of grinding and like whittling down your opponent's resources. So once per turn, banish one release card from your hand, then target one card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. And then again, once per summon, once per turn. This is how you seek out openings for OTKs. This is how you break up the opponent's boards, like resources against Thunder Dragon. When you like bouncing Levi's and duos is important, because then if they might not have the resources to resummon them, bouncing extra deck monsters, of course, is insanely good because they don't plus off it. It's just a straight trade. One little dolphin boy can ruin an entire game. Bouncing back row can clear an opening, especially if you can set up other XYZ plays like Malevolent Sin later on. Like, there is a ton of OTK potential within the deck, and it's mostly revolved around this 0 attack dolphin. Alright, and then I guess we'll go to spells. There's only like 3 spell and traps that we have access to. Ritual Beast Return, Fantastic Extender. Banish one Ritual Beast monster from your hand. Target one of your Ritual Beast monsters that is banished or in your graveyard. Special summon it. So this is for the Pangu combos, and I guess some of the regular, even non-Pangu combos, if you were playing multiple returns, you could set up a board of like a Paleo and Ulti Pedal Fin by using this card, and this card also helps extend through Disruption, helps create OTKs. This card's fantastic. I pretty much almost always play 2 of this card. There are very rare scenarios where I would play less, like in a Destiny Draw variant where you're playing like Lightning Vortex. You might want to cut the return for a second Laura, because then your hand is really taxed by discard spells and using materials from your hand quite often. So you might want to consider dropping a return, but I usually always play a double return, because what it does is just insane. Its main purpose is to bring back a Paleo from the grave and then provide efficient resource management. And yeah, and the Hawk return combo, of course, as well. One thing to note about this card, if you do not have a live target when you go to activate this card, you will not be able to activate it. And what I mean by this is, let's say we have Elder, Canahawk, and a Paleo. Paleo's in grave or whatever, or like, doesn't even matter. Like, let's say we just have Elder Canahawk and they've both been special summoned. And that's all we have. You cannot activate Ritual Beast Return if they both have been special summoned, because you do not have a live target on the activation. Even if you were to banish one and that one would be able to be special summoned, you cannot do that, because it checks first to see if you have a legal target before the card's even activated. So as long as you have one that's like, say we got Elder, Canahawk, both have been summoned, have both been special summoned, but there's like a window there too. Because window hasn't been special summoned, you can activate Ritual Beast Return, banish banish your Ritual Beast from hand, and you can summon the window, and you can also summon whatever you banish. So let's say you have a Paleo in hand as well, and return, and a window that hasn't been summoned. You can use the return to banish the Paleo, and then you target the Paleo to summon the Paleo, and then like banish whatever you need to do. Like, you can banish the return for the boost if that's what you needed. Like, you don't have to have you have to have a live target at activation, but that live target doesn't need to be what you summon when you try to resolve Ritual Beast Return. Next one, Ritual Beast Bond. I want to say this card is optional, but I don't think it is. I think this card is too good to cut. It is very bricky. it can clutter your opening hands, but at the same time, if you open up combo, it's fantastic. Because it's a good means of defense. It's an OTK tool and a pushing, like, aggressive push tool. This card is fantastic. It's banished 2 Ritual Beast monsters you control, special summon Ritual Beast monsters from the extra deck, ignoring the summoning conditions. Same effect as like Winda, ignores the summoning conditions. That's how you're able to summon these in the first place with Bond. I would play this over Pangu personally, just because I think it has its. You don't necessarily need Pangu to like combo off and play the game, but I feel like Bond adds a lot more potential to your OTKs and like being able to protect your monsters and do specific setups. Like some tricks that you can do with Bond, for example. Like let's say your opponent has Destiny Hero Plasma in the field and you have a Petal Fin. Or in this case, this happens a lot too against Witchcrafters when they have Madame Vare out. If you have Petal Fin out, you can activate Petal Fin, banish a Ritual Beast monster, and then if they either go to like if they negate, try to go for the negate on Petal Fin with like Madame Vare, or like if Plasma's in play, you can use Ritual Beast Bond as a cost. Will remove the Petal Fin and your other Ritual Beast from play. And since it's no longer in play, it's no longer affected by Plasma, and when Vare tries to resolve, Petal Fin's not in play to negate, so you can bounce the Vare. Another thing about this card, though, that's kind of misleading. There's a miscommunication with this card. So, mechanically, you can use face-up or face-down Ritual Beast monsters to contact fuse, that's what we call it, contact fusing, into your fusions. So if you have like a Winda face up, or Winda Canahawk set, or whatever, Canahawk face up, Winda set, you can go into fusion. If you have 2 Winda set, you can go into fusion. The face up, go into fusion. Ritual Beast Bond does not say, but you can only use face up Ritual Beast monsters to go into a fusion. So if you have like a set Winda and you summon Canahawk, you cannot, if your opponent tries to like Raigeki break the Canahawk or Karma Cut, you cannot activate Bond because the Winda is not face up. So a lot of times, it's actually correct to flip summon the Winda first. This will, for starters, check for delays on the opponent's back row, if they have back row. And they're not likely to preemptively shotgun a back row on a flip summoned Winda, because you could literally just set another Winda right afterwards. Or like go Elder Canahawk, and now they wish they had like that Raigeki break for the Canahawk. So then you can go for the Canahawk summon afterwards. You only do this to get Bond, by the way. You do summon the Canahawk afterwards, and then if they try to like Karma Cut the Winda, you can bond them both away, go into a fusion, and if you have like another card banished, you can start comboing off. If not, you can go into Petal Fin or Ulti Paleo, take way back out into the Winda and Canahawk, banish again, and you're good to go. You've blanked your opponent's back row. So with that in mind, I think Bond is definitely a one of. I would not play more than 2. Alright, what did I see? Well, let's catch up a little bit with the comments here. Pangu does come in handy for sure. Being a different name is important for setting up certain extra deck plays. The force search with Wen doesn't matter. You're never searching 4 times, so you don't play a Wen just to get the force search. Alright. I haven't seen more than a single maiden Kagura using it. No blue eyes. Ugh. Ugh. Blue eyes. Alright, Ambush. I do not think this card is needed. There are moments where it's good, so I'll tell you what it does. It's a trap card, for starters, so it's slower. That's a huge thing about this card here, is that it's a trap card, which makes it slower. Ritual Beast, in general, is a more aggression-oriented deck, but it does have a defensive game plan to fall back on. But most of the time, you want to be pushing aggression, and Ritual Beast Ambush is usually only good when you're playing from behind, as opposed to trying to scout for a lethal play, but it can come up, for sure. And it's good at setting up XYZ plays too, assuming you do this during the end of your opponent's turn or afterwards, because it does actually lock you into Ritual Beasts. But yeah, target one of your Ritual Beast Tamer monsters, one of your Spiritual Beast monsters that are banished and or in the graveyard. Special summon them in defense position. After this card is activated, you cannot special summon monsters except Ritual Beast monsters, so it actually locks you into Ritual Beast until the end of turn, which a lot of people seem to forget. So you want to use this to usually as a defensive tool to bring back like multiple windows. But a lot of the time you should be able to do that just by your live takeouts anyway. So I don't think this card is necessarily needed, but it's good in certain metas. But most of the time, especially with like Blue Eye Spirit Dragon running around, I do not think this card is needed. Extra deck monsters. Alti Paleo. Let me just bring these up to here. Alti Paleo, Alti Canahawk, Alti Paddlefish. Magnar, thank you so much for the host. Show me Prisma Winda. There she is. And the other... all 171 of them. Link Twitch needs to fix stitches. Oh yeah, that's just from yeah, if you place a period down in like between the sentence, it makes it look like it's a link. We're getting very common dream tickets. Oh, I wish I would love dream rare tickets. Like Dream Prisma, actually. Dream Prisma would be the actual dream, no pun intended. Oh, so the extra deck monsters. Ulti Petalfin, this is usually what you end each turn on. It has... so all the fusions have the same line of text where they have to be special summoned using a tamer and a non-tamer. And they have this quick effect. During either player's turn, you can return this card you control to the extra deck. Target 2 of your banished monsters, 1 Ritual Beast Tamer, and 1 Spiritual Beast Monster special summon in the defense mode. All 3 of these have these, but they each have one line of text that's different from each other. One that's apparently very hard to notice on Ulti Petalfin cannot be destroyed by card effects. One of Ritual Beast's big strengths is that people just do not know how to play against Ritual Beast, and they just do not know how to read. Hey, Trickster5, thank you for the gifted sub to Magnar. It is very common to get your Ulti Petalfin, quote-unquote, blown up by a lightning vortex. And then they scoop it after when they realize nothing happened. Cannot be destroyed by card effects. This is very, very good. It adds more to the resilience and the defensive aspect of Ritual Beast as a whole. 2800 defense is incredibly large. Although this format... Holy crap. More gifted subs. Thank you so much for the 3 gifted subs. The Law, TTV. Oi, boy. Okay, yeah, so... the thing is, Blue Eyes is pretty big, but the thing is, when you have Ulti Petalfin in combination of Ulti Paleo, Ulti Petalfin becomes practically unbreakable as a wall for that turn, which then can allow you to special summon. If your opponent can't deal with it, you go into your Petalfin or your Canahawk, and then your other tamer, usually Winda, because it's more protection at the start of your turn. And even then, as a desperate measure, last wall. There's some decks that used to not be able to beat this card. Like Blackwings, if they played greedy, could not beat this card at all. If they went to like Raikiri, like they went like Hawkjo, Raikiri, and like Simoon or like Zeph, they just could not out the card. A lot of people just do not know that this thing cannot be destroyed by card effects for some reason, and it's insanely good because of it. This is what you generally will end your turn on, and against, if you can get the setup that involves a Paleo, it has 3300 defense, can't be destroyed by card effects. There aren't a whole lot of things that can chase this out, and if they do, you can take out into Double Winda, which can then float into another one, which could potentially even float into more Tamers and Spiritual Beast monsters. Ulti Paleo. Its unique line of text here is, if this card attacks, it is unaffected by other cards' effects until the end of the damage step. This effect is insanely good. It dodges many what would be problems. Wall Disruption does nothing. Drowning Mirror Force does nothing to Ulti Paleo when it's attacking. Sphere Karibo does nothing to Ulti Paleo. The one downside about this effect is that because it says unaffected by all others cards effects, this includes your own. So a Paleo boosts will go away. If you attack with Ulti Paleo, let's say it's at 3600 because you got two a Paleo boost off in your turn, and you go to attack. When it goes to attack, it will lose that extra 1,000 because this is a continuous effect of Apelio. It continues to apply and keeps checking the field. It basically is a lingering effect that lasts until the end of the turn. That's continuous. So when this goes to attack, it says, oh, all of a sudden I'm not affected by any other card's effects, which includes the Apelio. So then it loses 1,000 attack, goes back to 2,600. This can be a problem with trying to beat over specific boss monsters. Back in the day, the main one that was hard to deal with was Invoked Cocytus. So we had to play additional text to out that card. However, there are ways to like kind of, I wouldn't say like get around it, but there are like little rulings that come up involving this card. So for a continuous effect like Apelio, or like Shiranui Samurai, like when it's active, it'll be unaffected by the effect of Samurai when it attacks and kills it, because it lasts until the end of the damage step. It'll not be affected by Apelio, as a boost, but cards like Forbidden Lance, or let's say you discard Alistair the Invoker to boost, will work as long as you do it before it's not attacking. This is because those cards, those effects don't cause a lingering effect, they just resolve on the target. So if you Forbidden Lance at Alti Apelio, it'll resolve, it'll get minus 800 attack until the end of the turn, and that's stuck to it basically until the end of the turn. It's not a continuous effect that's lingering, it just happens. And then it's unaffected by spell and traps, so then when you attack with it, it will be 1800. Because it will still, even if it was like this effect was active and it still had extra attack, it would not drop to 2600. Even if it were like was affected by both Lance and the Apelio, it'll drop down to 1800 because it would ignore the Apelio but not the Lance. Same thing with Alistair the Invoker. If you pitch it to the Alti Apelio, this is for you Invoke Neos people if you even are still alive or exist out there. If you pitch it to before it attacks, it'll gain the 1,000 boost and it will not lose it. If you do it when it attacks, you will not get the boost because it won't be affected by it by then. I think that's good enough to discussion for this. Oh yeah, also skills do not affect this. So if you use like the Tie That Binds or Beatdown, you'll get to keep that boost because it's not a card effect, it's a skill. Okay. The most important card in the deck, Winda. Second most important card in the deck, though, Ritual Beast, Alti Cannon Hawk. This is how you play the game. This is how you outgrind your opponent. This is how you resource everything. This is how you get your searches. This is how you do your setups. This is how you play the game. Once per turn, you can target 2 of your banished Ritual Beast cards, return them to the graveyard, and if you do, add 1 Ritual Beast card from your deck to your hand. So, these are all soft once per turn. The thing about Ritual Beast is all the effects are soft once per turns. The main deck monsters are all soft once per turns. The extra deck monsters are all soft once per turns. Meaning that if you activate one's effect, you can activate another different effect for like each copy, basically. A hard once per turn would be something that says you can only, let's say if this said you can only activate Spiritual Beast Cannon Hawk's effect once per turn, that would be a hard once per turn, but it's not. It says once per turn, so that means if you were to summon Cannon Hawk, you can use the effect Banish, go into a fusion, tag out. That's a new entity of Cannon Hawk, you get that effect again. And that goes for all the extra deck monsters too, including Ulti Cannon Hawk. So, the main basic thing and understanding about the deck is understanding the combo. And like how do you like cheat the resource system to get this combo? So what you generally do, first of all, always have Self Chain on. If you're trying to play this deck right now, trying to pick it up, you are just fresh new, going through your settings. Go to your settings right now. Go to where it says Self Chain, turn that on. It is needed for this. That'll allow you to respond to your own card effects after priority has passed from your opponent. So what ends up happening here is you target 2 of your Ritual Beast cards. So ideally, you want to have 3 Ritual Beast cards banished. It doesn't even have to be they don't have to be like all monsters. Like you could even have like Return banished here, but you want to have 3 Ritual Beast cards banished. And what you do is you activate the effect. You target one of them. You target one that you intend to send to the graveyard and one that you intend to special summon. And then you chain to that effect the tag out ability, the second effect, where you return it back to the extra deck, summon 2. You're going to target one of the ones you targeted, the one that you intend to special summon, and another one that you tend to special summon. So let's, for example, here we got Elder, Candlehawk, and a Paleo banished. None of them have been special summoned this turn. You just went your turn 1 was Elder, Candlehawk, a Candlehawk effect banished a Paleo. You go into Ulti Candlehawk here. You activate the first effect. You say, I want the Paleo in the graveyard. I'm going to target a Paleo and Candlehawk with the first effect. So that when those get sent to the graveyard, you get a search. But this is where you cheat effectively the system here. You chain the tag out ability of Ulti Candlehawk, return to the extra deck, and this time you target the Candlehawk and the Elder. This will summon the Elder and the Candlehawk, and because this is still a legal target, it'll get sent to the graveyard. So it follows like regular targeting procedures. It goes to the graveyard and resolves. Resolve the search effect, and then you have Elder in play, Candlehawk in play. A Paleo goes to the graveyard. You only send one card to the graveyard, and you still get a search. The reason why you get this search is because, like I said, normal targeting procedures. So, for example, let's say you're going up against a Goki player. They go normal summon Suprex, normal summon Twist Cobra. You have a Treacherous Trap Hole set face down. You activate Treacherous Trap Hole, target the Suprex and the Twist Cobra. Your opponent tributes the Suprex to boost the Twist Cobra up. Treacherous Trap Hole still will destroy the Twist Cobra because one target of the card is still valid at resolution. This is the same principle that applies here. Because there is still one target valid to be sent to the graveyard, which in this case is a Paleo. It goes to the graveyard and it resolves as normal. That's how you basically cheat the system into getting these free searches effectively. And that is how you build your resource plan with the deck, and how you're able to set up OTKs involving around Petalfin, fill up your banish pile, get your double window setups, and all your searches. Your searches for Candlehawk will grab you your return for extenders. If you have the return, it'll grab your window as an additional tamer / spiritual beast monster to tag out during your initial combo. It can grab, like literally, it searches everything. It searches Bond for your OTK if you're missing it. And even then, you don't always have to tag out. You don't always have to target 2, then immediately tag out. You can still just send 2 cards to the graveyard. Sometimes it's optimal to just send 2 cards to the graveyard, search a return of something, or a Bond, because that'll allow you to do a specific OTK. Basically, the rulings for RB cards have some kind of exploit. The thing about RB is that a lot of the things that they're doing looks like they're cheating, but is completely legal by game mechanics. Rage and when? Nah. Alright, so that basically covers the core cards. We have a lot of tech choices. And that's what's one of the strengths about Ritual Beast, is it has so many good tech choices to play. So just go to my favorites, or I can just search someone. So tech choices that you could choose. If you have the ability to play this, Book of Moon is fantastic. It does a lot of things. Like, obviously, it works just like Canadia, where it can flip your opponent's stuff face down, but it also has the ability to flip your stuff face down, which in a lot of combos can be very important. Book of Moon allows you to effectively dodge Fiendish Chain, which is good. I know Fiendish Chain in general isn't very good against this deck, because, like, Fiendish Chain only works while the cards are face up on the field. So, if they try to Fiendish Chain your Ulti Candlehawk, you don't even have to panic tag out. You can still, like, if they Fiendish Chain your Ulti Candlehawk, it does actually nothing. Because you still get to use the first effect, and then you get the chain, the second effect to tag you out, you'll still get a search the Fiendish Chain died. Fiendish Chain also doesn't work on Elder, and I should have talked about this earlier before. This condition right here, after you normal summon this card, this there's just that. It places a condition on you, the player, which gives you the ability to additional normal summon. This is not an effect. It does not start a chain. Which means if they try to Fiendish Chain it, doesn't matter. They can't Ultimate Providence it because it doesn't activate. It's just when he's successfully normal summon, it happens. The only way this doesn't happen is if his summon is negated, or there's already something in play that is negating cards such as Destiny Hero Plasma. Privilege. Ritual Beasts have special privileges? Kinda. Yeah, Ritual Beast and Ladder is actually like insane. Like you can easily get 10 plus win streaks with Ritual Beast in several different builds, honestly. But back to Book of Moon. Book of Moon allows you to play through Fiendish Chain. For the one time where Fiendish Chain would be good is against something like Laura. If you go normal summon Laura, you need the Laura to bring back the Cannahawk or the Petalfin or whatever's in your graveyard to actually have a play. They go to Fiendish Chain, you can Book of Moon your own Laura down. She'll be face down, not face up, no longer a valid Fiendish Chain target. Her effect will resolve normally. You get the special summon, and because you can fuse face down, you got yourself a combo. With that being said, this is not mandatory. This is absolutely not a mandatory card. You can play Paleozoic Canadia in its place. Hawks had a 14 win streak yesterday or the day before. Yeah, it's very, very easy to get. Like if you put the time and effort to learn this deck, it is very rewarding. So RB would say it's about Angel of Fun to you. I want to master this deck, but the time does not let you. Yeah. Well, it's just basically learning the combos and the setups and like understanding and like managing your time. You really have to practice a lot the initial combos, which we'll actually do the combos too, of course, at some point. So Book of Moon, very solid card. If you don't have it, that is absolutely okay, because you can still play Canadia in its spot, and it'll be just as good. In fact, in certain builds, it'll be better than Book of Moon, specifically the Endless Trap Hell builds, which we'll get to. We'll do some builds afterwards after I go over some of these texts. Floodgate Trap Hole is also very solid. A lot of people generally have this card through bundles or just by using the Dream Ticket, because a lot of the recommendations for using Dream Ticket go to Floodgate Trap Hole. This card is very good. I don't think it's the best option as a tech for Ritual Beast, but it's definitely very serviceable. And if you felt like you wanted to play Floodgate Trap Hole, you can. If you have Floodgate Trap Hole but are missing other techs, by all means go for it. It's a good tech. I think Fiendish Chain is very good right now too. It was great, fantastic last format because it was an amazing out to Hang On Mock, but like Forbidden Lance is still like kind of in the format. Anyway, I think Fiendish Chain is still very, very solid, and you should consider it. I'm actually in the list that I plan on playing. I will be playing 2 Fiendish Chains because I think the card is very, very solid in the deck. Other options, this card is actually insane too. Needle Ceiling. This card used to not be very good, and it keeps coming and going through the metagames, but I think it is very, very good right now. So whether there are 4 or more monsters in the field, destroy all face of monsters, it has a lot of synergy with the deck and a little bit of cheekiness that you can do to like make it better. So first things first, Petalfin cannot be destroyed by card effects. This includes your own card effects, so if you have Petalfin and your opponent summons 3 monsters, boom, Needle Ceiling, the field is gone. You still have a Petalfin, you get to tag out into your double Winda or your Elder Cannahawk, whatever you have basically banished. You're unaffected. When your common turn 1 plays, when you don't have like a combo, is setting Winda and praying for the best. Needle Ceiling punishes overextending in that regard. The Needle Ceiling will not pop your set monsters, which will then allow you to, once you clear the field in the battle phase, you basically have a clear shot at lethal for the following turn. Thing to note, Winda's effect when she floats only happens when she's destroyed by battle or your opponent's card effect. By your opponent's card, it says right here. Which means if you Needle Seal in your own Winda, not only will you not get her effect, but you'll have me to deal with too. One of the other things you can do with this card, if you have, let's say you have, and it doesn't have to be, let's say you were being aggressive, right? You attacked with Ulti Paleo, you have a Paleo in play, you have Needle Ceiling. And your opponent summons 3 monsters, like Obedient School, they summon 3 monsters. What you can do is when there's 5 monsters in play and you have a fusion, you can activate the effect of your fusion to tag out. There's still 4 monsters in play. You can chain Needle Ceiling. Needle Ceiling will resolve first before these monsters are special summoned. Then board will get wiped up. Then you'll get to special summon your 2 Ritual Beast monsters, and you again have full board control. But keep in mind, this only works if there are 5 monsters in play. And because when you tag out, there'll be 4 monsters in play. You'll still meet the requirement here, but you can't do it if you try to tag out and all you have is just an Ulti Paleo. One of my favorite things to do too, involving Needle Ceiling and Ulti Paleo, is attacking. You can sculpt lethal in various ways, especially against Blue Eyes. Your Blue Eyes opponent has a Blue Eyes, they have a Dragon Spirit of White, they have an Azure Eyes in play. The Azure Eyes effect's gone off. It's already worn off. You have a Needle Ceiling set from the previous turn. During your battle phase, you can go Ulti Paleo. They have 3 monsters, you have 1. A Legend of Gamer, thank you for the follow. They have 3 monsters, you have 1. Needle Ceiling is active. Battle phase, you go to attack. You see the little flashy animation thing. Ulti Paleo's effect is now being applied. You can activate Needle Ceiling here, wipe the board. This is also a good way to play around stuff like Karma Cut too, like fishing for Karma Cuts or other like potential battle traps by attacking and then doing something like disruption in the battle phase. Like if you needed to kill a like a Blue Eyes or an alternate White Dragon with a Book of Moon, you would go battle phase first, attack, wait till the effect goes off, and then Book of Moon it face down. That way, if they were to like try and Karma Cut you, basically the window of opportunity is gone. But yeah, what we need to do here with the Needle Ceiling play, you would attack with the Ulti Paleo, activate the Needle Ceiling. It's unaffected by the Needle Ceiling, wipes the board. You get an option to redeclare an attack. You attack directly, boom, activate your return, banish, summon your Paleo, or just tag out to your windows, activate Bond, lethal. What is that, triple alter? Yeah, no, the whole deck is prismatic. This deck kind of getting a buff because of Lunalight nerf. Honestly, the way that my builds have been recently, Lunalight has been a buy matchup. I don't think Lunalight has been difficult at all. Lunalight has, like, if you have your deck built properly, Lunalight is not a bad matchup, like, at all. Collide, which will be some kind of trash. You just stop play FA, we'll go Burr. I mean, that thing is going to be gone now. That Hang On Mock thing actually benefited this deck if you played enough text to do so. Because you could just window wall them indefinitely. What else was there? Oh yeah, the other alternative. I don't think I have it favorited here. But if you don't have Needle Ceiling, there is Lightning Vortex. I don't know if you play more than 1. You can play 2, but if you do, you have to tailor your build towards it. This is the same reasoning why you'd play Needle Ceiling. It's a bit faster because you can play it on your own turn. So you want to use it to decimate a Blue Eyes board. That's where it excels, is blowing up a Blue Eyes board. It's not bad against Harpies either, because they don't really have protection around Lightning Vortex. A lot of decks don't really have protection around Lightning Vortex right now, which is why this card is very solid. So in that regard, if you were to play Lightning Vortex, I would cut a return, play Double Aura. That way you have a little more mileage of the ability. If you discard Catahawk, you actually have combo by summoning Allura, getting the Catahawk back, and you potentially have lethal. Yeah, the problem with like playing cards like Lightning Vortex over something like Needle Ceiling is the discard cost is very, very real. So like you don't want to, and that's why you'd want to cut a return, because if you play like if your deck's just like this, you have your returns, blah blah blah, whatever. This is very, very taxing to the hand, because now you have to ditch a card for Lightning Vortex. Then if you want to make an extensive combo play, you have to ditch a card for your return in your hand, because this card is only live if you have a Ritual Beast card, Ritual Beast monster in your hand. So now that's basically a whole hand eaten up just right there. like a starting hand is basically in up there. So a lot of times, if this were to be the case, you'd almost have to pitch a return for your Lightning Vortex just to not, like, just to have different resource management. And then on top of that, you still have to have fuel for Petal Fin bounces. So I think Lightning Vortex is great in Ritual Beast, but not more than 2, and if you play 2, you have to build your deck around it. This is with like double Laura, and you can't really play any other discard traps. Otherwise, I'd play like 1 Vortex, 1 Needle Sealing, and then keep 2 return, if you could do that. Shadow Game RB with the with the Merrick, yeah, I do remember that. It was that was a time for sure. Endless Trap Hell RB is basically what that is right now. But yeah, I do think Vortex is very good, and it is playable for sure. One issue I have with it right now is with water being so good. A lot of Book of Moons, a lot of Forbidden Lances, kind of makes it an awkward card. Yep, balanced. So, Lightning Vortex, fantastic for the like Blue Eyes matchup, but can be pretty awkward for stuff like water. Ones that I've been playing a lot as of late. Not so much Sphere Kuriboh, but Sphere Kuriboh is very good still. But you only really want to play Sphere Kuriboh if you're playing a skill like Destiny Draw, because it's better at managing your draws better. Like that's how you kind of like trick your opponent into like triggering it, is you play cards with Sphere Kuriboh. The other one I've been really enjoying is Battling Boxer Veil, running 2 or 3 copies of this card, because it provides a body on board which can help with your Needle Stealing plays. If you play Needle Stealing, which one of the lists I did does play Needle Stealing. And it also, because it's a level 4, you can go into a Malevolent Sin play as well. And you can kind of like trick your opponent to thinking you're playing Lunalight just by passing the turn. Like if you're going up against Blue Eyes and you kind of have like a playable hand, you can wait and see what your opponent does. Like a lot of times you still will set when to pass, but they might be able to like deal with it. You can still like Veil a Blue Eyes board even if they like overextend and they drop like 3 monsters right away. You can Destiny Draw into your Lightning Vortex, wipe them out, combo, and finish them off. About the Blue Eyes matchup too, regarding Needle Stealing, that is. When you go up against Blue Eyes, you do not want to set your Needle Stealing turn 1, because it's just going to get sniped by Dragon Spirit of White. You want to wait until they have like a relative sized board before you set the Needle Stealing. Because then at that point it's a complete blowout, and if you can get the Destiny Draw off of it, like Destiny Draw on the Needle Stealing or Destiny Draw into the Winda while you have Needle Stealing already like available, you go set both, pop them when they try to do something in the battle phase, and they lose again. 1 Vortex enough for this deck? Yes. I don't think you need more than 1 Vortex, honestly. That's what I like about Veil, because then I don't have to set it turn 1. Yeah, setting like against Blue Eyes, you don't want to set Needle Stealing turn 1. The only time that would really be good is if your opponent like opened up the alternative eyes, like double Ancient Rules hand. That's when you'd really want like it, but that's so rare that it's just generally best to just grip them to the Needle Stealing, set other back row that can interact with them, and then if they get to the point where they can establish a board, you can have the pocket Needle Stealing and take over the game from there. Basically, that's how you beat the Blue Eyes matchup. With if they open up like solid, like if you both open up relatively decent, this is how you win the Blue Eyes matchup. Is you pocket Needle Stealing for a turn or 2, and then set it when they have like established board already, and then have to commit to the battle phase, and then you just pop and kill them. Other attacks. So yeah, Veil, very, very solid. Eats up multiple attacks, is very good. You can mask the fact that you're playing as Lunalight, which is really good because it will discourage your opponent from actually attacking you in the first place, and then eventually you just draw into your combo, and then you're good. Other options, MST, Cosmic Cyclone, Forbidden Lance. Do I have Forbidden Lance in my favorites here? Yes, I do. Okay. These 3 also very good. These are better when back row is more prevalent. Like when Thunder Dragon and like Onomat were running around. That's kind of why we stopped maining Cosmic Cyclone. But these cards are great. Specifically, Cosmic Cyclone is great against rogue decks. because a lot of rogue decks rely on like cheeky shenanigans, like Trimid, for example, leads to field spells. This card ensures that matchup up. Aroma, same idea. Metaphys can be really good against them too. You can hit the Ace of Metaphys with a Dimension. They might not even be able to get the play at that point. Dark Ruler No More is coming. Do you think it will counter the deck? No. For starters, I don't think Dark Ruler No More is even going to be good. Call it a hot take if you want. It doesn't stop anything. You can't OTK after you activate it. And that's the thing too, is you can play around Dark Ruler No More by playing Ambush, right? You can play Ambush, search it. When you're doing your combo, your follow-up Laura will be an out to it as well. You can tag out in the draw step to just double Winda, and now the Dark Ruler No More doesn't do anything as well. Like, there's a lot of ways to play around Dark Ruler No More. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. And for starters, it needs to be worth being played anyway, and honestly, I don't think it is. But yeah, Cosmic Cyclone. I don't think you play it in the main deck right now. You could play it in Destiny Draw main decks, and it'll be fine. It's okay. It's still good against the random ladder stuff. In tournaments, though, play 0 main, play 3 side. Because you need answers to Poisonous Winds. But nobody's main decking Poisonous Winds, so you don't really need to main Cosmic Cyclone, honestly. Hey, Trickstar Fire gifting and Tier 1 sub to Ace. Your RB vs BR matchup too. I'll just have B Brick. Nah, it's better than that, man. You know, you can actually make it manageable. It's not that hard. Law, what's up? How's it going? But yeah, Cosmic Cyclone, Lance, they all fit the similar role. MST as well. Like, MST is a lot better when Treacherous Trap Hole is, and like a bunch of trap that when Endless Trap Hell is really good, so is Mystical Space Typhoon. And Blue Eyes being like 3k beaters is a reason to like kind of play MST over Cosmic Cyclone. Because the 300 damage does actually, or 3000 damage does actually matter. And the hits that you're hitting in Blue Eyes with Mystical Space Typhoon are literally no different than hitting them with Cosmic Cyclone, except you lose 1000 life. But Cosmic Cyclone still can trigger skills, which is important. Lance is kind of like the one that you would play the least, but if you got Lances and you don't have like MSTs or Cosmic Cyclones, then the Forbidden Lance is also good. What else? Yeah. Oh, holy crap! Oh my God! Ace here is gifting 5 tiers, 1 subs. Holy shit, you guys are off the chart today. Thank you so much, man. Enjoy the emotes, everybody. Low Kilos, E-Hero, XGP, or yeah, XGP, Del Connolly, Nam Waver, Conman. Enjoy the enjoy the window emotes. Alright. So that's basically the main text that I would consider running right now. I don't think there's anything I particularly missed. There are optional texts that I have here. Wall of Disruption comes and goes in the metagame. Like, it was great when Invoke Neos was everywhere, because like they really they basically, in order to win, they had to create a huge board, and you just slap down Wall of D and you slap the big Neos booty down to small size. And yeah, this card was great back then, but it's a cheap option. You can still play it if you have them and you don't have a lot of text. You can still play it. It's fine. It'll be great in your gold and platinum ranks because people are terrible. But as you go up the ranks, it's gonna lose a lot of luster, a lot of effect on the game. It's great when no one expects it, but and the cool thing about Ritual Beasts is you can disguise these delays with your Ritual Beast monsters, your fusions, because you can always have a live tag out available that can actually disguise lack of delays with Wall Disruption. So it actually is just it has a bit better quality there in that regard because of that. This card is playable in this deck. I wouldn't sleep on it, but it's also like it doesn't actually interact with your opponent. It's just kind of good when when the meta game revolves around building a bunch of big dumb idiots that need to turn sideways to swing. I just saw AG winning games in Battle Phase. Sick. This is an offensive deck when you window. Shows how bad this meta is. I mean, yeah, it's true. Forbidden Chalice. I was going to talk about Forbidden Chalice. I think I have it favorited here. Forbidden Chalice can be used as like a book replacement or like a Fiendish Chain replacement if you don't have it. It's still fine. It can be activated in the damage step because it boosts attack. That's important. Negates the effects. It's a full-on negate too. So for some freaking nature reason, you're going against Chira and they summon a Solitaire, you can actually negate the Solitaire with Chalice, and if they try to activate it, it'll be negated. It's a similar effect to Madame Fair and Sanctified Dark Lord, that where it negates, it just completely negates it for the turn. It doesn't matter if they face up on the field or not. Unless they get removed, obviously. Like, if you Fiendish Chain Owinda, doesn't matter. If you Chalice Owinda, doesn't matter. Because Owinda is destroyed, she leaves the field, then her effect activates, she's a complete different entity, not affected by the Chalice, you'll get the effect off. It can also, yeah, and you can also negate your own Apelio to stop it from having this effect, and that means you get the benefit of being boosted by Apelio, so you get the big meaty, like, 4k swing. Like, you can actually get this up to 4k with Chalice. And that's noteworthy because that is convenient damage. So Chalice is pretty solid. Bad Aim. Bad Aim is not terrible either. Let me bring up Bad Aim here. Search. Favorites. Trap cards. Bad Aim. The thing about Bad Aim is it's it does rely on your opponent to do something for it to be good. But it's also like a main deck piece of spot removal that comes with a very little cost. And depending on certain decks, certain matchups, it's actually very good. Like against Invoked, you can pop the Purgatrio when they go to activate Invocation in the graveyard. Against Black Wings, when they summon a monster. The Black Whirlwind triggers, you can pop the monster. Now the monster's no longer in play, so they can't check the stats to search it. The issue with this card is it's not 2020 anymore. And those decks aren't quite around as much. So this is an option, but it's not super amazing. Usually I would want it as a means to, if I needed to deal with a problem, but could also attack back row, that's when I'd want to have a card like this. Because it also can out Poisonous Winds too in certain scenarios. This card is solid, not amazing. You can play it if you don't have it. Another card that's also optional, not bad. Special Hurricane. This is what you would play instead of, if you didn't have Lightning Vortex, you could play Special Hurricane as a placeholder. Because again, it still blows up Blue Eyes boards, which is important. Bad Aim very meta dependent? Absolutely. Can you contact when your monsters get floodgated? Yes. When your monsters are face down, you can still contact use. Special Hurricane, discarding card, destroy all special summon monsters on the field. So, last format, I'd say this card has a very huge problem. And it's not just the fact that it can blow up your own special summon monsters, but the fact that it doesn't blow up Hang On Mock because it's normal summoned. But now we don't really have to deal with that problem. It works very similar to Lightning Vortex. Just remember that when you go to use this and you have monsters in play, go into Petalfin first. If you go into Ulti Petalfin first, unaffected by, cannot be destroyed by card effects, which means it's immune to your Special Hurricane. Then you can like tag out into your whatevers, go into your Ulti Pelio, start swinging. This is a good placeholder for Lightning Vortex if you don't have it, but again, it's not something that you need. Yeah, you have to go Ulti Pelio and Petal first. Can't decide on what to choose. Exactly, that's the beauty of the deck, is there's so many options that you can choose, and it's very flexible, and each like tech you choose can change correspondingly depending on the build that you have. Like for example, another tech that has been out of the meta for a while. I played it actually. I played it a couple formats in Desperado format when Noble Knights was tier 1. I played multiple copies of Herald of the Abyss. This card was amazing when Invoked was practically at full power with Kukaitis at 1. Quote-unquote full power, I guess. Yeah, this card was insane. For that, it was your main and like basically only out to Kukaitis, and on top of that, the life point restriction. You pay 1500 life points to have one monster type attribute. It's just clean spot removal. It does come with a hefty price of 1500 life points, but you use that in tandem with like Sealed Tombs, and like to an extent, you could even do it with Destiny Draw if your life points call for it. That's flat out an answer to like any problem. And like during the Noble Knight, when Noble Knights were everywhere, Knight Desperado was kind of rearing its ugly head. Herald of the Abyss was very, very good. in tandem with Steel Tombs that I what was it? I think I had a dual level max with like 35 wins or something. It was like really like from dual level 10, dual level max 35 wins, just with like a double Herald of the Abyss, Sealed Tombs build, triple Book of Moon, Posthumous Army. Yeah, I mean, they could do that too. I was gonna like be done with techs here, but that actually just reminded me of another tech that you can potentially play as well. Fissure. One thing that Herald can do in this meta right now is deal with the like one thing it is very good at doing is dealing with the Spirit Dragon, like a Blue-Eye Spirit Dragon and the Azure Eyes that comes out of it. It's fantastic with dealing with it. The one problem it has though is it also has to deal with the other Blue Eyes that's in play. And you can't really do that with Herald of the Abyss because they'll just send the Blue Eyes. It's like the vanilla Blue Eyes that they get usually off of their Whitestone of the Ancients. The Herald target, they'll just send a regular Blue Eyes. However, with Fissure, you can actually destroy the Spirit Dragon with Fissure. And if they try to take out into Azure Eyes, doesn't matter. Fissure will resolve first before Azure Eyes resolves, and then since Azure Eyes isn't even on the field in the first place, it won't even get that effect at all. Am I the guy in the chat with the 7 Book of Moons? That might be me. That may or may not be me. The only reason why I would like not recommend Fissure is because we have Vortex now. We don't need Fissure. But like you could still play Fissure too. Like these are all like fine options that you aren't forced to actually play. But like they're good if you do play it. Like there's so many good options here with this deck. And then I guess that's it for like the spell and trap options. That's some of the techs. The only other like monster techs, you could technically play some other monster techs, but I think we talk about those when we get to the skills. But right now we have extra deck options, and honestly, I only think there's 2 extra deck monsters that are even worth noting right now that you would want to play, honestly. And I think those are number 70, Malevolent Sin, and number 91, Thunderspark Dragon. I don't think any other XYZ monster for Ritual Beast even comes close to the power level of these 2. Like you could argue Diamond Dire Wolf, I guess, but I don't think you need Diamond Dire Wolf. I think this one's the best one right here, by far. I don't know if I would actually play a list without Malevolent Sin. Just the OTK extending capabilities this card presents for the deck is insane. Absolutely phenomenal. And for Thunderspark, you kind of have to build a little bit around it. But again, if you don't play like Needle Sealing or like Lightning Vortex or any of that, this is why I kind of like stopped like putting this card in this deck, is because we got cards like Needle Sealing and Lightning Vortex, and those cards are good again. When cards like Needle Sealing and Lightning Vortex just aren't that great, but they are good in very small specific matchups, this card is phenomenal. Like when Lunalight's on the ladder everywhere, Blue Eyes on the ladder everywhere, they don't expect this coming. And you can really steal games by being able to make this, detach the materials from this card, acquires the materials. That's the hardest part about the card, is you need to be able to set it up. And the easiest ways to set it up is through ambush, or like doing a like return play. You have to end on like double Winda in order to make it work though. And you have to manage your tag outs accordingly so that by the end of it you have like double Winda and another level 4 in play, because you can't do it with obviously with Laura and Elder, because not level 4s. And then afterwards, you generally want to make the Thunderspark Dragon when you can follow it up with a return lethal or like an ambush. But the thing is, if you use ambush, you have to do it either on your opponent's turn or after you've already made the Thunderspark Dragon, because this locks you individual beast cards if you use it. The pre-nerf Amaterasu tech? Damn. We really gotta go all the way back there. Wait for a few minutes because that was before time. No worries, man. You want to use lava? We'll get there. We'll talk about that, honestly. Actually, we're going to get there really soon. So the skill choices you can use. So let's get some of this stuff out of here. We just build a random Destiny draw list. I had a random Destiny draw list, actually. Actually, I have a lot of... Let me be real. I have a lot of Destiny draw lists. But Destiny... I think Destiny draw is kind of like the most popular one to play, just because there really isn't a whole lot better now. But like we got Destiny Draw. Oh, this was a list that I was playing with Veils. We got a couple books. I added an extra book because it's an insanely good card. Destiny Draw, in combination with Sphere Karibo and Battling Box of Veil, makes it very easy to set up. Destiny Draw can search the combo piece that you're missing. It can search if you have the like a Canahawk in hand or whatever, you can search the Elder. If you're missing the Canahawk, can search the Canahawk. If you have if you put into a situation where you need to Destiny Draw Laura, it's available. Big thing it does is it searches like silver bullet cards like Lightning Vortex and Needle Ceiling. It can search the Book of Moon if a bouncer is threatening you. Have I tried Signature RB? I have actually. There's a clip on the channel of me showing off a replay of me opening Signature combo and then double summoning into Elder Canahawk combo. Talk about a pointer of the Red Lotus. You know what? Actually, I do think that is worth talking about, honestly. And then this works great here too because it's for Destiny Draw. You only play this in Destiny Draw. Pay 2,000 life points, reveal cards in your hand, look at the opponent's hand, and select one card, move that card from play into the opponent's next end phase. So this can be very good. Going first, this card single-handedly triggers Destiny Draw, puts you at 2k life. You can just snipe a card from your opponent's hand, which could snipe their resources. You get perfect information from your opponent, so you know how to go about your combo. And usually resolving a pointer of the Red Lotus going first while you have like combo or like a means to get the combo that won't be disrupted will result in you winning the game. The issue with this card is it's completely useless going second. Yeah, and the artwork is kind of weird. He kind of got that weird finger vibe and is very, very interesting. But artwork aside, let me get that out here. Let me get something better. The pointer of the Red Lotus is good in Destiny Draw exclusively and only going first. So I don't think it's enough to warrant playing, but you can have fun with it. You definitely can have fun with it. Destiny Draw is just the best generic skill in the game, but deck isn't reliant, you just default to D-Draw, basically. You don't even have to play hand traps. You can just play back row and still play Destiny Draw. Do it like E-Saber did. If we to play Luna play, they know it's wrong. We have the choice. Much better. Yeah, always. Always much better. Yeah, so Destiny Draw. Searches everything that you possibly need. You can't, it's hard to, like this, what else is to say? It's Destiny Draw. You get, it's, in, other terms, it's Demonic Tutor for your deck. Insane. And it gets better when you add cards like Battling Box of Veil and Sphere Karibo for defensive. Like I said, you don't have to play those cards to get it active, and it's completely fine. Other skill options. Oh yeah, I'm actually surprised they didn't nerf it too. They really should have hit this skill to make it so that you only get it if you start the turn with 2k or less life. At least that, but apparently they don't mind if you play it with Veil, which is weird. Next skill, Endless Trap Hell. This one. Oh, you play Magic? Yeah, I do. That's where most of my, like, skill as a card game player, like, came from, was playing Magic. I've won a lot of events playing Magic. Also, Dragons become my BB. What the? That is not... That is not an Endless Trap Hell, which will be stack. Endless Wind to Heaven, let's do it. Exchange my card tickets. Yes, pro tip, exchange your card tickets, they expire at some point. Yeah, Endless Trap Hell. Plenty of traps. Skill is very good at if you play a lot of traps. You have to play a lot of a slower, more control-y build of the deck. And forego some other common text to make it work. Yonfei in space, thank you for the follow. So, honestly, you can still play Return in Endless Trap Hell. For me, being so used to the cards, I would find it very, very difficult to... Actually, I might even just want the third finish. No, the third can't is better. It's really hard to like because you really can't OTK if you play the MCS ETH list. But you generally want to have between 7 and 9 traps, I think. Your monster core is always going to stay the same. Let's keep that in mind. Because when does the trap pays? You're lucky you're a mod. Also, thank you for the hydration redemption, Acer. So I'm a Magic still holding on to my green colors collection. Commander decks? Yeah, man. Commander is like the main driving force to play like Magic right now. EDH. Yeah, it pays. That's right. That's right. So yeah, Alice Chapel, very good skill with the deck. It's sometimes hard to trigger because like if you play cards with Phoenix Chain, but also you can send like ambushes to the grade while you're doing your searches, and that can help enable the Endless Chapel. Another skill that's worth playing. Sure, we'll say that. Pays mod status on thin ice now. Yikes! Yikes! I think I have a beatdown list. Beatdown. I don't really have to talk about like make builds. I guess technically, these are just kind of like skeleton shells. I guess you could go off of. All right, yeah. Beatdown. Another good skill. Benefit to playing beatdown. And like tie-up binds. That's kind of like the main. That's how you have to figure out which skill you want to play. Is how good are these skills and what do they accomplish? For the sake of beatdown, like I said, Ulti Paleo is affected by beatdown and will keep the boost afterwards. If you have two Ritual Beast fusions in play, the beatdown, obviously it'll get bigger. It'll be plus 600, plus 300. This is important for beating over Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes White Dragon, Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, Azure Eyes. That's a scenario where you'd want beatdown. I think the main reason that you'd want to play beatdown is it allows Altia Paleo on its own to beat over Photon Strike Bouncer. That is, I think, the main and most important thing that beatdown does that no other skill does, is it allows Altia Paleo to 1v1 Strike Bouncer, which can generally give this deck a problem. But if you open up like Elder Winda and the two there Bouncer, and you don't have like a way to deal with it currently, beatdown lets you do that. Ties doesn't let you do that, but Ties being repeatable is also very good. Tie-up binds can be used to fight stuff like in this meta game, Cyber Slash, Harpy Lady. Although keep in mind that with Harpy Ladies, this is 2600. Tie-up binds lets you beat it 1v1 with Ties just on its own. But keep in mind, if they have Harpy Lady 1, you will not be able to, because you will lose the boost from Harpy Lady 1 when this starts attacking. So that's a reason why you could play beatdown and Ties. Sealed Tombs, another solid option. Although right now, I don't know if I'd consider it. There's just not enough graveyard stuff to really make use of it. Other skills. I think there's 3 other skills that might be worth playing. What's your favorite or current EDH deck? Prosh. Sky Raider of Care. A Sliver player? No way, man. So yeah, other skills. Bring It. Let me just go back to Yugi here. I think Bring It is a decent, like, free-to-play option right now. Because, well, Plasma's not, like, insane. Let's just assume that this is just Bring It, right? You'd have to build your deck to play Plasma, I guess. Let's just get rid of some stuff here. Alright, I'm gonna add... You have to build around Plasma, and you kind of have to... The problem with like playing Plasma is it's very soft to like back row, but can be a complete blowout in certain matchups. So we play Ambush here. We might not even need to play that, but then you would want to probably play a multitude of back row removal, something like this. Even in at this point, I think I would... you could even cut a return for like Pangu. Just have more monsters, the ability to sack and have better ambush plays. So Plasma can be pretty solid. Draw Sense high level for specifically Lava Golem could be another option. You don't actually have to like play Draw Sense level. You can just play Lava Golem as like a random one up in the deck, and it could be fine. The only issue right now is that normal summoning is very important for this deck right now, and because this is just so much power and pressure being and like sack potential and OTK in the game that I think Lava Golem is very risky unless you also are playing stuff like Ambush and like Back Row to like make sure that you don't just die to Lava Golem and that you can stave off a turn. It was a lot better when like Luna Lights and like Invoked with Cocytus were around, because that would be your Herald, effective Herald replacement. So now you must so now like Lava Golem's lost a lot of worth there, and I don't think you'd want to play Draw Sense high level anyway just for Lava Golem. But you can still play Lava Golem without the skill, but if you felt like you needed the Draw Sense, you can also just add any other thing. You can add Obelisk in here if you wanted to, if you want to meme on people. And then the last skill is Cosmic Enlightenment, which is an Esperoba skill. It's basically Draw Sense Ritual Beast Tamer. It's also fine, but I think just Destiny Draw is just miles better for anything that you could be doing. So those are like kind of the other skills, the skills that I would be playable, but are just kind of like overshadowed by Destiny Draw and the other skills that we currently have. A free-to-play build. I should try and build something that's free-to-play. So we could do Destiny Draw as a skill. We'll take rid of that. Lava Golem, I don't even think we need. So let's say we... So I'm going to try and build a free-to-play variant right now of the deck, because I know a lot of people that want to build Ritual Beast, especially from scratch, are... like they are fairly new with their accounts, so they don't actually have a lot of like money and resources to build the deck, but they still want to play the deck. So we're gonna build something that, like, if you're starting a new account, we'll build something fresh here, right? So you go through the box here once or 3 times to get your core. We got ourselves we'll get our returns, things like that. We'll keep the penguin here as well. Let's just assume we only have like 5 extra deck slots as well until they get the extra slot unlocked. Obviously, you want to get that slot unlocked immediately so you can get up to your 3rd Ulti Paleo, but you can play 2 Ulti Paleos fine. I would the only reason I would not the only reason I'd not play 2 Ulti Paleo is if I was also playing like Bond and Pangu, because that could be really taxing. But you can still do it, just you have to be a lot more careful with how you do your Pangu setups as well if you wanted to play both of them, because a lot of time you might not even be able to send, otherwise you just won't have a Bond target unless you can get to the point where you can set yourself up so that you have a Paleo that can tag back out and then just bond to another Paleo. Make a Decade free-to-play list with 2 mini boxes. No way, man. If you want to play Ritual Beast, you gotta get 3 of these. This one's like the only one that you can justify only playing 2 of. And then we can add like Tex here as well, I think. Ideally, you just want to play... Like, let's just assume that... We should be able to assume that you have I guess... You should get like this. If not, then it's fine. You just play 2-2-1. Otherwise, you play 3-2-1. Like almost always. You could technically cut a Pangu for like a 2nd Petal or a 2nd Laura even. Probably not Wen though. You probably wouldn't want to play Wen. And then we go... Let's say we go through 1 box of Valiant Souls. That'll give us a Canadia, a Needle Ceiling, and then we use our Dream Ticket on something like a Fiendish Chain, and then maybe like a Floodgate too even. If not, if like this is all we have to work with, then we just add an extra RB card even. It's another Laura would be fine. Even like Battling Box of Veil, if you went to it, hit a Cosmic Cyclone, you could play a Cosmic Cyclone. You wouldn't play another Ambush, you'd only play 1 at most. I think the one makes the most sense is probably just adding a 2nd Laura at this point. And just kind of rolling with this. I guess you could play a Wen, but I don't think it's really worth it. Okay, sorry, I wasn't in Witchcraft meta. It took me 2 and a half in Genesis, 3 Gear Freed. Does Titan Showdown work DNA surgery? It should, yeah. So yeah, this is what something I would like do with a fairly free-to-play build. That would be 3 runs of the Spirit of the Beast box. I guess you could technically play Lava Golem too. Like that could be the random Laura card here, or the Plasma and play Bring It is an option too. But you really want back row removal when you're playing Plasma, so maybe not Plasma. Lava Golem is probably just better. So we go that. So now we have multiple pieces of removal. We have some ways to set up, and then we have 3 runs of the box, the Lava Golem, one run through Valiant Souls for these 2, and then your Dream Ticket on the 3rd staple card like Fiendish Chain or Floodgate. Cards I would try to avoid though, for like text I would try to avoid. I wouldn't play Karma Cut or any discard trap for that matter, because as I mentioned before, hand resources is really important, and you don't get like any graveyard benefits like the other decks do that play Karma Cut. Like you don't get a free blue eye staple to it. You don't get like there's just you don't really benefit off of the only reason why Karma Cut would be like any sort of like relevant is if it were a reason to turn on Ambush and Laura, but they'll want those anyway and you don't want to open them regardless. So discard traps generally not very good. Huddled Up Barrier not very good. Drowning Mirror Forest also not good, because you want to protect your monsters that's already in play, and it's just kind of it's very easy to play around too. I don't think you want to be playing Drowning Mirror Forest if you have no delay. You have no monster, no delay. Your opponent's going to be able to play around this. This is not a very good card. I've got to mention some other free-to-play options we could play here. Even if we don't do this, like let's say we don't have our Dream Ticket, or we currently can't afford to do our run with those. There's also Windstorm Vitakra, Curse of Anubis, and then you can just find something else as well. Like literally, mostly anything will do. This card isn't too bad if you draw Paleo or Laura. The problem is if you're playing like multiple like returns and stuff, and also just they're not very good top decks if you have nothing. They're not really good D-draw targets as well. Like the discard traps are just like they're fine, but they're not better than like Fiendish Chain or Needle Ceiling, like staples that we already have access to. Like I'm not gonna tell you to go out of your way to go get Karma Cut, when you can literally just go and get like a Fiendish Chain, or Canadia, or Needle Ceiling, or Floodgate. Because like these are just better. Like Vortex is just better as well. The Karma Cut, even though it's a discard card, you at least have more control with it, because you can build to make Vortex good. So yeah, let's just say we used our Dream Ticket on not a Laura, a Fiendish Chain. So you can do something like that. You have 1 Dream Ticket on attack, 3 runs of the box, the Lava Golem, and then these free-to-play cards as well. In the meantime, you can also play. Here's another one that came to my mind. Psychokinesis. If you control a psychic monster, target 1 card in the field, destroy it. If you do, take 1,000 damage. Spot removal only works if you control a psychic monster though, so you need a tamer in play. But it is straight spot removal, 1 for 1. You take 1,000 damage, but that can also help trigger skills, so that's not too bad. I recommend 7 Book of Moon. Also thoughts on Axe Raider. If you're feeling rich, you can go for Book of Moon. Axe Raider. Alright. No comment. Alright, so this is like free to play variant you can play. I think it's about time to just go over combos now. Cause like we're going for a while now. We haven't actually played any games yet, so for the sake of this, I'm gonna be like fighting against a random dummy, like on the casual ladder, just to like show games, get combos in, try and like sculpt hands. So with that in mind, I'm probably gonna get rid of a lot of some of these like random texts in here, just to like add more consistency. So we're definitely gonna want to add Pengu here. Galore of that. We don't need when. I might just add like more returns as well, just to like kind of show off what you want to be doing with the returns and whatnot. Let's add returns. We can keep Book of Moon because we can actually show off like some of the things you can do with Book of Moon potentially. We're only gonna go over like the basics. I don't think I'm gonna put return here. I might even put a second Pengu just to like show off Pengu combos. Because we're just gonna be going against a random dummy anyway online. Zvam, what's going on with all the window images? I don't have them up right now. Hold up. Boop. There's also a video cam too. We do face cam stream as well. The only reason why I'm not doing it this right now is because I'm currently doing a tutorial that I plan to upload to YouTube, and I might edit it down a bit, or I might just upload it raw. Either or. I might just do both even. Can we bore people with RB mirror match if you want? Oh my god, hell no. Hell no, I don't want to do an RB mirror match. Ugh. RB mirror matches are not fun because it's literally about who draws better. I'm just gonna do these random casual duels and like fight some random dummy over and over again until I get replayable hands. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll just try to answer all of them. But yeah, I'm gonna try and go through most of the combos, like Elder Hawk with no Pengu, like certain setups and what you'd want to do. Hit Legend 1, nice. So this actually isn't a combo, so we'll just start over. So I'm probably gonna be doing this a lot because I just kind of want to get Elder combos in hand. I guess technically I could set the window and like float into like an Elder, but it's kind of unrealistic. Because this is just going to be some random like Chainsaw Insect beatdown deck that's not going to actually do anything. I guess I could have showed off the best combo there, which was set Window Pass. See, look, Chainsaw Insect. Alright, so we actually drew Elder Pengu, so I guess we're leading off with the Elder Pengu combo. So what you're going to do here, normal summon Elder, obviously. And we actually have Winda in hand too. So we can do the combo that involves having, if you have Return or Winda in hand, you can actually do this combo a lot more effectively. So we're gonna banish the Ulti Paleo, send the Little Paleo. I'm gonna set these books down so they stop eating up my delays. Go into an Ulti Cannahawk. Activate Ulti Cannahawk. You're going to use this first effect. That's going to let you target the Ulti Paleo and the Pengu. This is where you need self-chain on so that you can do this. Activate the second effect, chaining to his own effect. Summoning the Pengu and the Elder. And with this, you're going to search one of your returns. Doesn't the combo always do the same board? Basically. The only difference between not getting Winda here and or not having Winda or having Return in your hand to start this is that when you do this next step, you have to do a raw search without taking out. So right here, you want to send the Ulti Cannahawk to send the Little Cannahawk. So yeah, right here, if you didn't have either, you still search one of these two, like either the Winda or the Return, whichever one you were missing. If you didn't, like, even if you had no other cards in hand. Because at this point you would just go into like an Ulti Cannahawk, do a search, and find whichever one you were missing, which in this case would be like the Winda or Return. But since we opened up Winda, we can actually activate the Return right now. Banish the Winda, summon the Apelio. Activate the effect. Banish the Cannahawk. It has not been special summoned. One thing to keep in mind too with all the Ritual Beast monsters is they tell you what can be special summoned and what has been special summoned, what hasn't been special summoned. So that's something to keep note when you're a new player as well, is that you can actually figure out what exactly you can special summon. So go to activate the effect here. Again, first effect, target fusion, because we have no use for the fusion of the Cannahawk. And then we can go to chain to take out, because we put ourselves in a situation where we could. We have the Cannahawk and the Winda available. And then we can search like a follow of Laura even right now. We can search a Bond if we really think we have lethal. Go banish. Here, usually if you're going first here, you're gonna want to banish the second window, so you have another window available here. And then going like this is it all going first here, right? You go first. You want to end on Ulti Pedalfin here. That'll allow you to end on the Pangu, the Elder, the Counterhawk, and Double Winda. Which then, when you tag out into Double Winda and the Winda is destroyed, that'll give you an additional tag out afterwards into the Elder Counterhawk, which can then set you up for next turn afterwards as well. You could also banish like a Pedalfin, depending on the matchup. You can banish a Pedalfin instead of the second Winda, and then tag out into Pedalfin. But you can also just do another search here as well. But you could do, if you thought you had lethal, something you could do a play. Why not? You could do another search for the Pedalfin, and then banish on your opponent's turn, and still have Double Winda with an extra tag out, and like tag out. So we could do that right here. We could go for lethal right now if we really wanted to, with the Ulti Paleo and the Little Paleo. But if he has back row, you might want to be a little more conservative. If he's playing like something like Johnny Mirror Force, it could like come back to bite you, which I'm pretty sure this AI is playing Johnny Mirror Force. But yeah, this is how you would have like an OTK, I guess, technically. But you do want to be cautious of back row. You want to kind of understand what you need to do. Oh, thank you. When you have specific back row. See, this is Johnny Mirror Force. Switching Bond actually plays around this as well, which is why it's comfortable to do this play, because you still get to end on the Ulti Pedalfin. You summon a defense mode so it doesn't get shuffled back. And that's basically it. And then we have, look at our banish pile here. So we got a tag out into Double Winda, and if they destroy the Winda, that can float into like another Ulti Pedalfin, because the Ulti Pedalfin will shuffle back when you tag out, and then you can tag out into like your Counterhawk and your Elder, or your whatever you feel comfortable with. Even a Paleo can be in any tag out. You probably want to tag out the Counterhawk just so you have a little more leeway with what you want to be searching, and if you want to banish, it's an option. And he has turn. And yeah, and that's basically the name of the game. So yeah, because he didn't do anything, you can just go in like this. I mean, granted, it's just a bot anyway, who gives a shit. And then just for random flavor purposes, it's triple Book of Moon. Oh, is that triple Book of Moon? Anyway, so you go like this, you can go activate. This is something you could do with the Paleo too, actually, beforehand. So like just to show you what the power of once per turn effects in Ritual Beast. So we can go banish this here. We can actually activate a Book of Moon. Flip down. Flip summon again. And look at that. Activate effect. We get another effect off. It's the benefit of playing Book of Moon in here, is that you can do stuff like that. And then just how you ever want to kill the opponent. You just manage your resources properly so that you can kill your opponent properly. We haven't searched Laura yet, so it's fine. And we actually want the Apelio on the grave for the sake of this next turn, so it doesn't really matter. The ability to have the highest rarity cards does not make you the best player. No, but the real disclaimer is when you're playing and comboing off, you need to blare the heaviest symphonic folk metal that you can possibly get your hands on. So yeah, just be time managing with your resources, understand your paths to victory, and just practice these combos. That is how you get better with the deck, is by practicing with these combos. And just remember what you summoned, what you haven't summoned, your additional normal summons, what you haven't additionally normal summoned yet. Like everything is, it's all practice. That's literally what it is. And like this here was the Elder Pangu combo with only two Ulti Paleo in the deck too. I'm pretty sure. Toggle off. You can toggle off sometimes during the battle phase. It's fine. You can mask delays too by toggling off, but generally they're gonna know, regardless if you toggled off because you've done this. So that's the Elder Pangu combo, and effectively the Elder Pangu Winda combo. Let's try and get like an actual Elder Hawk combo, because there's a couple of those I want to show off. This doesn't have anything yet. Elder? Paleo? This hand doesn't really do anything. We'll just try and find a new hand. Obviously we could set Window Pass and like still win the game because this is nothing. But we'll still just try and force ourselves a combo hand. Trickstar 5, redeem, watch, replay. Sounds good, man. I will get to any replay redemptions after the tutorial. And then I'll set things up. There you go. We drew a Paleo here, actually. So because we drew a Paleo, we're going to have to do this slightly differently. Because normally we would banish a Paleo with a hand like this. But what we can do here, in case you open a Paleo with the Canahawk, we can go banish Window here. Going to Ulti Canahawk. Activate the effect. We're probably sending Window to grave here. Summon the Canahawk. Summon the Elder. Get a search for our return because we have a Paleo in the opener. Yeah, I will show that off too. But the Elder Banish Pangu generally needs to happen when you don't open a Paleo. Alright, so then we banish. We're gonna actually banish the second window here, and then we're gonna use our return. Banish the Paleo to summon the Paleo. This you usually only do in the event that you open Elder Hawk with a Paleo in hand. Then we can banish the window. We have Laura in hand already, so for this portion here, to do the search and tag out, I would just search Laura, because that will get back the, if we want to, the Canahawk that would be in grave at the end of this, because we go target these two. Canahawk, Winda. You want to usually send a Spiritual Beast monster to the graveyard when you're doing a combo, because Laura reviving a Spiritual Beast monster is more important than Laura reviving a Tamer. Yeah, the only reason why we're playing multiple Pangus right now is because we're just demonstrating combos, and I just kind of want to see more copies of these cards, I guess. So then here, yeah, we could literally search. We have the follow-up already. We could search the Petalfin even if we wanted to have multiple bounces, but likely chances are we might need to use our Laura next turn. So we could even search Bond. And then, because we're going for a second here, we can go for an attack. We actually have OTK because of it. Battle phase. We have the Laura. We would normally search, if we didn't have a lethal line to play here, we would search Laura for the follow-up. Even though, because like we could banish the Canahawk with the Paleo, but if the Paleo dies, Laura can revive the Paleo, and then you still have the return that you can banish on your own turn for more fodder. But here we just get to do this, and it's completely okay. His insight doesn't matter. And then we have the Bond that we searched. If you have lethal, you just go for the lethal play here, most likely. Unless you're expecting like Battling Box to fail. Or, and I guess Spirit Weevil can turn that hand off just off of that board. So that's Elder Canahawk with a Paleo in hand. Paleo in hand kind of cringe, yeah. Ooh, okay, so this is actually a combo too. This is the Elder Hawk and either Winda or Return opener. But we drew Elder Hawk, so we're going to do that one first, obviously. So let's do the... Let's see, I could do Elder Hawk Pangu, or Elder Hawk with no Pangu. We'll do Elder Hawk with no Pangu first. Actually, no, screw it. We're gonna do Elder Pangu first. Elder Hawk with Pangu first, because this is the cooler. This is the cooler one. So we banish a Pangu. Oh, you have to kill it. Okay. The hand has so many combos in it. That's ridiculous. All right, go into that. The Ulti Canahawk. Target the Hawk and the Pangu, and then we're going to chain tag out, obviously. We're going to target the Pangu and the Elder. We actually could have done an OTK setup here too, which probably would have made a lot more sense too. But we can do that in a different combo as well. So we grab the window here. We'll just send the Altipilio. Activate the return. Banish the window. Bring back the Apelio Engrave. Apelio's effect. We'll banish you. Go back into Ulticanahawk using the Pangu and the Elder. We still have a Search tag out here. So go target the Fusion, don't have a need for it. Target the Canahawk because we haven't summoned it yet. Chain the tag out. Canahawk, Winda, only 2 targets available to summon. Yeah, at this point it really doesn't matter. We grab return, I guess. Because we just have like a lethal setup regardless. Activate the Hawk. We can banish another window here even. The return is safety. You can banish. You can get a surprise window here, or we can just do this. Activate the Sin. Go to battle phase, and he just dies. There's a lot of ways you could have gone that turn too. I just wanted to kind of show. So with that there, we had lethal, so we went for the Malevolent Sin play. We had an actual more optimal OTK path, revolving around Petalfin there, but I just kind of wanted to show the basic Elder Hawk Pangu combo. And then on turn 1 there, you just end on Ultipetal with like a shit ton of stuff banished and a flexible setup. Had lethal with book 2, yeah. So many ways to lethal that game. So this is one of like the sad hands, but you still end on a fusion with it. It's not really a combo, but we can still like kind of show what I mean. See, if you open up Return Hawk and a Spiritual Beast that's not Winda, you have this very, very sad setup. Epic. Next duel. That's kind of like, it's a way to start with a turn 1 fusion, like with an Ulti-Petalfin, but it is very sad because it uses most of your resources and it's not, because you don't have a follow-up on top of it. Like, you need to draw a Ritual Beast monster to make that hand somewhat playable, so that's kind of like the saddest that hand can be. But that still lets you end on a fusion. Again, this hand is a brick, this doesn't do anything. If you go second though, you can OTK with Pangu and return if they don't do anything. But that's not the case here. We don't have Ulti-Guy Paleo, so we can't currently send Tamers with Pangu. Otherwise we would be able to do kind of the similar thing where we would just send Ulti-Guy Paleo, send a Winda, summon Winda, same kind of board as that last hand. He does something with Gaia Paleo, yeah, of course. Well, again, it's not super impressive either. Because it's still just like the way the last hand was. And this is kind of how you like die, but it's okay. We're gonna... we have a turn in hand, so we're actually gonna like kind of bait this out. Oh my god, he's going in. Yeah, we'll just take it. So now I can show you the Elder Hawk going second OTK hand. Quote unquote, going second OTK hand. So because we have return in here, we're going to go normal summon Elder. Normal summon Canahawk. Our banish with Canahawk is going to be not Petalfin, but a Paleo. Then we're going to go into a fusion. And like that. Take out. So we're going to make sure that we send the Apelio to the graveyard and have the Canahawk coming back. And the Elder coming out, obviously, only targets available. Our search is going to be Winda. And now we're going to do a second banish. It's going to be the Petalfin here. Go activate the return. Banish the Winda. Summon the Apelio. Activate here. Banish the return. Search a summon with Canahawk. Activate the effect. First effect, target the return and the Petalfin. Haven't summoned Petalfin yet. Chain the takeout. Petalfin, Winda. Then we could search, I guess, a second Winda here. Just in case they don't die, you have double Winda with your fusion to fall back on. Is a great defense while still exerting a ton of pressure. And now, if we didn't have Bond, we could just go into another Ulticana. We can actually do that right now anyway, just to show it off. A sense of where you'd want to do a raw search, even though you don't have the ability to tag out. You just send two. Doesn't really matter if you're trying to go for lethal here. And then at this point, if you didn't have Bond, you would search a Bond. But because I have Bond, I'm just going to search Allura. Toggle off in the battle phase because we don't have any other effects available. Attack. Attack, and if they weren't dead, we can Bond into an Ulti-Paleo and swing for lethal as well. Now I want to show the Elder Hawk combo without Pengu in the deck, and like kind of some setups that you can do. It's like worth it. And then I want to show off the Elder or the Winda Hawk return hand, or the Winda Laura Hawk return hand. Interesting. So then you sometimes get weird hands like this too, where you can have like weird innovative like setups to OTK and whatnot. Like we could go, I mean, it's very basic. This ain't really anything special at all. How's that? It's funny things with this hand too. This is kind of randomly like improvised too. Like this isn't any like a real combo that you should ever look forward to like looking for it, but this is something that just happened to manage to come up. So we can actually like, if they don't die here, we actually have like Bond into like a double tag out window play. But we also could just like, the thing about Bond too, that I forgot to mention while we were talking about, here, take this tail slap, dumbass. You don't, when you banish two Ritual Beast monsters you control with Bond, they don't actually have to be a Tamer and a Spiritual Beast. They can be two Tamers, they can be two Spiritual Beasts. So we can actually bond away the Petalfin and the Canahawk here to go into like an Ulti-Paleo here. And then we actually still could like tag out because we have double Winda banish now. But yeah, I've got to mention that you can use Bond and two Spiritual Beast monsters to go into a fusion. Pegasus Fantasies. Band is. Wait, what's happening in chat? What did I miss?
Duel.
Right, this hand ain't gonna do anything. This hand ain't gonna do any of the combos I want it to do. You know. This bot really wants Volcanic Wall. Dude, even I don't have Volcanic Wall. I haven't even upgraded this guy to level 45 yet.
Duel.
So this hand, I mean, if you ever go first with a hand like this, you probably just go Elder Winda. You don't want to Winda set pass because there's so many things that break it. So generally you're going to want to like Elder Winda and then take out the Winda. Because you have like the Pedal Fin and the Winda follow up, you're generally pretty safe with your fusion play. Going second, you just kind of like smash your opponent with Elder Pedal Fin if they don't have back row. If they do have back row, that's kind of when you have to like understand like what you're up against. Because like, let's say for example you're playing up against Cyber Dragon and your hand is, you're going second, your hand is exactly that, right? They go core, they set a couple back row cards, and pass the turn. It's not always correct to go for combo. You don't just want to throw Elder and Pedal Fin out there or Elder Cannahawk out there if it was a Cannahawk just to get overflowed and you have no recovery. Sometimes the best option is just to set Winda, especially on against a field like Cyber Dragon. And just setting Winda is generally safer. You just kind of have to estimate whether or not your hand can beat, like if they're going to be able to follow up with the amount of back row that they have to a play that would actually put you into a bad position. Usually when they play a lot of back row, they can't really break the Winda board, so that's always nice. Again, this is just a random, like, simple OTK hand, Elder Pedal. There really isn't much to this, honestly. Very simple OTK. You can even just like, because we have a turn here, you just search a Paleo. You don't even need an additional banish here. You could even search a Cannahawk even, but I think it's just better to search the Paleo if you're trying to put pressure damage on. You go Cannahawk, summon it, banish the Paleo. But then you don't really have a tag out, technically, so we're just going to switch a Paleo. It really doesn't matter at this point. It's all fine. Banish the Winda. Now we have a boost, and we can actually have like an extensive OTK here. That's why I like going for the Paleo, because you can do this now. We can just send, doesn't matter, these two. Keep the Winda banished for the sake of doing something like this, because when you bond away and they don't die, you can at least tag out into Winda in a Paleo. And then this also like plays around Destiny Draw too. If the opponent plays Destiny Draw, because that would force like a Veil activation here. And then you got this. And then at this point, if they had Veil, you could kill the Veil, grip onto the bond, don't even need to use it, banish something from the graveyard and still have a tag out there. Into Winda and whatever. Now show me Elder Hawk without a Paleo. To learn how long did it take me to learn RBs, or did I learn from TCG? I pretty much knew from like TCG already. So, alright, well we got the Elder Pangu, but like that's not really gonna do us any good because we already did it. So I'll just find a new hand. He looked at Winda and knew, basically. That's the only reason why I even picked up the deck low, like high key. It's because Winda was added as a was purified from the Shadal curse and then turned into a virtual beast tamer. Winda made him a man. You got that right, dude. See me a hand I haven't seen yet. The sacred ritual has been performed. Now we get Elder Kanahawk. We don't talk about zoo hands. We try to avoid zoo hands, yeah. Alright, give me Kanahawk right now. Sick. So this is the Elder Winda return hand. You can also do this with Laura, but it's better if you open up Winda, because if you open up Laura, you waste your Laura recursion by doing this combo. So you got the Kanahawk. We're going to banish Elder here. The reason why we banish Elder is because we only have one Laura, and we actually want to search Laura. So you banish Elder here. You have to make sure you banish a Tamer. Make sure it's not Winda, because you want to be able to do at least one search here with the tag out. So then we go banish the Winda now by using the return, summon the Elder. Now we can go into Elder Kanahawk. Activate the effect. Elder's already been summoned, so you automatically click him, click on the Winda. Chain tag out. Summon the Winda, summon the Kanahawk. You also want to be careful too when you play up against back row. Like when you're actually up against like real back row, like karma cuts and whatnot. Like clearly there'll be different points where your opponent will try to interrupt you. Let's say your opponent has a lot of. We'll try and get to a point where you have a combo on a different hand here. But I know what this deck is, so we can easily just kind of go for. Actually, we technically could have had a lethal play, but that face down card is 100% Drowning Mirror Force. So this is what I mean by when I was talking about specific like ways to deal with threats and whatnot. So we toggle on here. We go into the battle phase. This is the battle phase. We attack here. So if they had Karma Cut, now's the time. Now it'd be too late. So now we have our attack. Our attack's active. We activate Book of Moon. This is how you deal with the threat. Like it's just like a Blue Eyes, for example, or an alternative White Dragon. This is how you deal with it. If they have a Karma Cut, they can't use it now. That's how you get rid of it. Raul El Moro, how's it going? So yeah, that's how you do the standard Elder Winda Hawk combo. You just go on first, you end on, again, ulti. But basically, anytime you go first, you go on Ulti Petalfin. The only times you'd really want to end on Ulti, like a Paleo, is if you, like, for example, like something like Blue Eye Spirit Dragon was if you could foresee Spirit Dragon coming out, it being in attack mode, will generally try and keep it away from being in attack mode, at least in defense mode. But then again, it still kind of cooks you. So there's very rare situations in which you want to actually summon Ulti Paleo over Ulti Petalfin. Alright, again, we drew the same hand. I guess we'll just show it off again. We actually drew kind of an interesting one. Double return hand. It's kind of neat. Kind of looks cool as Prisma. Have you seen Winda though? Have you seen Winda though? Have you seen Winda though? Yeah. No? Okay. Sure. Yeah, why not? Who cares, man? Who cares? Actually, have 3 of them. What's that? Winda is for your eyes only? Yeah, it's true. You're not wrong there. So now we're just kind of like messing around with random combo stuff. General reminder, World likes window in face down position. You know me all too well. Put down. Again, we have just another OTK. Granted, these are like literally against random nothing monsters. But I haven't seen Elder Counterhawk in a hot minute. Oh, and always, if at all possible, if your opponent's at like 700 or 200 life points, you always gotta go for the ulti-pedal fin bad manner victory. Bond into ulti-pedal. What the? I shouldn't say Will abusing some poor bot. Yes, because I'm trying to just show off some combos. That slow-mo so obnoxious. I think it's kind of cool. Elder Hawk. Stop. And I drew a Paleo too, so now if I draw a Hawk, it doesn't even matter. Alright. Too slow for your liking? I mean, it's kind of cool. I feel like it's cool now, but it will probably get like old in the future. I did get to see a slow-mo of Sphere Kuribo smack somebody already, so that was kind of funny. It's good for the odd match, but every game. Yeah, I feel like if it's for like a really big meaty hit, maybe, yeah. Okay, we're missing an Elder. Actually, we'll take a hit. Let's speed this up and just take a hit. Alright, Elder Hawk, no Pengu in the deck. Just ignore the Pengus if they're not even there. We have the return. We already showed off the combo that revolves around if you open up return as well. So we're just going to do like a regular setup, so just ignore one of the Counterhawks here. Or whatever. This is our opener hand. Let's just assume this is our opener hand. So one of the things, I usually only do this when I only play one return in my deck. For this setup, so we go banish, we can banish the Apelio here. We can go, we have a turn, so we could actually go for an extensive return play. But if we don't have a turn, let's say we only had Elder Counterhawk. We can go into a fusion here, immediately tag out into the Elder and the Counterhawk. This, like I said, this I only really like to do when I have like only like one return in the deck and I don't want to burn the return early. Let me branch the window here. But this still allows us to get a search and gets us 4 banished targets at the end of the turn. So going in, it's also realizing when going into a fusion and taking out immediately is like relevant. Like when you'd want to do that, because it does actually come up a few times. One specific scenario, for example, let's say you have Elder Hawk and Pedalfin banished. You're going to want to go into a fusion and tag out into the Elder Hawk if you haven't summoned any of them yet. Because that'll give you a little more leverage and an extra banish for your search and tag out. So you would get to go into Ulti Counterhawk or Ulti Paleo, Ulti Pedal, whatever. Tag right back out into Elder Hawk, use Hawk to banish Winda, and now you have an actual search with an extra banish card available. So you can go search, tag out, summon the Pedalfin, the Winda, search another Winda, something, use that Winda, banish. Now you have double Winda banished. Pedalfin and banish as well for the next turn. It just sets you up a lot better if you go into a fusion and tag out immediately. If you have like a Pedalfin Hawk, if you opened up Elder Pedalfin Hawk and you went for like Elder Pedalfin Banish Hawk to bounce. Anyway, what am I doing again? I'm in a combo right now, I think. I summoned that already. I straight up lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, we're trying to wrap this other combo up. And yeah, very simple. Banish that, and then we get to end on. I mean, technically, we can't kill him right now because we already summoned everything. Here we go to here. So this is what I mean by return to, by the way. So can't be summoned, can't be summoned, can't be summoned, can't be summoned. They've all been special summoned. If you try to use return, it says set. because even though like we could theoretically special summon Laura because she hasn't been special summoned, we cannot do it because we don't have a current live target for return right now, so it would force us to set the card instead of being able to activate it. So that's what I mean by this scenario here, where you wouldn't be able to activate return. Even if you had a live target in your hand, you need to have a live target in the graveyard to banish. But this setup is pretty solid too, because it lets you end on a tag out into Winda Kanahawk, and then if they destroy the Winda can float into Ulti Petalfin again, which can then tag out into Elder, Apelio. Apelio can banish either the Winda, the Kanahawk, and then you just have full combo again for next turn. You can do a search for Petalfin next turn. Searching Petalfin is very important as well, versus stuff like Thunder Dragon. Honestly, if you figure you're going up against a deck like Thunder Dragon, I would just like you do the return play, because sitting with a Ulti Petalfin on your opponent's turn, if you have an Apelio in play, an Ulti Petalfin, 3300 is really hard to get by, and if you search the Petalfin, it actually plays a bouncer as well. Because if they make a bouncer play, the chances are they can't actually out the Ulti Petalfin. You just wait till your turn until you deal with the bouncer. You summon Petalfin, bounce the bouncer, then negate it, you tag out, you start doing combos, and you're basically good to go. However, doing that in other scenarios is very risky, because you put if you have only one return and you go for the return play here, you end up potentially losing your chance at your graveyard control and grind game for the rest of the game. So if you use your one return early and you only play like one Laura, you don't play like any ambush or anything, like the only way to get stuff out of the graveyard outside of Apelio himself is Laura in return. If you use the return early, and then you try to get back like your Apelio or something with Laura, and she gets Phoenix Chained, and you don't have Bond to get her out of there, well then you've lost all of your grind game. So this is why I generally like going for this setup when I only play like one return. If you play two return, by all means go for a return setup, you're completely fine. And it'll work out in your favor. Uh-oh, he got White Bill. We're gonna die. Oh no. Oh no. Also, learn to toggle is pretty important too, especially when you play with like Battling Box of Veil. You're gonna want to be able to mess with the toggle to trick your opponent into giving you Destiny Draw. So learn about the toggle thing. The main thing about this deck though is just get the combos down, learn the combo paths, the setups, what you need to do. Start with like a random AI like I'm doing right now. A random AI that doesn't really have a lot of interaction but still lets you do stuff with like Petalfin and whatnot. And just kind of like take control there. You're gonna need to learn the time, like how to speed things up with the time eventually. I go for turn play too often, but I haven't really been punished for it. Yeah. I mean, if you play, like I said, if you play multiple return, it doesn't even matter, honestly. There are also some scenarios here, not in this one like right now, but let's say we need to, like the rest of our hand is completely dead. Like these cards just don't exist, right? Opponent has a full board, and he's at 4,000 life points. Okay, it doesn't have a full board, I guess, but like we put into a situation where we're both like we have an opening to go for lethal. He's at 4,000 life points. We're at whatever, doesn't matter. Sometimes it's actually just a correct, clearly not here because we're miles ahead of the game, to do if you have a tag out available, but you have no cards in hand, right? Like, because we could do a search and tag out here, right? If we did this, some of the two, like target the whatever, tag out. It's not always correct to do so. Like for instance, we can like just do the spot search. Again, this is on the assumption we have nothing in hand. Opponents at 4,000 life points. We can go search the Bond as like our last card here. Battle phase. Imagine he's at 4,000, right? We go attack, pop. He takes the 14. He takes 1,400. We do the tag out here. Because we chose not to tag out, we have a tag out live. And because we have one card in hand, the one Bond that we search, we can now sculpt lethal. It's just kind of like eyeing out certain things. Like, again, just practice, practice, practice. Small little details like that is how you get to be not only good with the game, but with the deck, but like a complete master and insane. And I think that pretty much wraps up most of like the combos. Basically the basic combos, some of the setups. There's a little bit of extra flair added in there as well. But that pretty much wraps up the majority of this tutorial, I guess. And like obviously you need to understand matchups, figuring out what you want to be doing in each matchup. Usually you have a good idea what you want to do, and as soon as you see a character, right? Because like you can do the return plays and like the Elder Pangu plays. Sometimes, like if you're not playing Pangu, for example, and you see Zane Truesdale, you probably want to set up double Winda instead of doing like a Paleo. As a Paleo is actually better in your deck when you can float into a Paleo against a deck like Cyber Dragon. And then you want to have double Winda for the most protection possible for that. Is it this deck? And then, obviously, if you see, like, Yami Yugi, when you try to set up... If you're going first, at least, I know a lot of those hands we were going second, but we were simulating going first. With a lot of those kinds of hands, you're going to want to summon a Paleo in defense, just so that you don't get, like, sacked by a random Cat Dancer from Luna Lights. Because they're still out there, and they probably will still be out there, even after the ban list changes take effect. The only times you really want to put this in attack mode, I guess, if you're going... first is if you like are 100% certain that you're not playing against something like Lunalight, something that can't really sack you, or against like Invoked, where like it's like if they Purgatrio you, then well, I guess that's that. But then generally you have back row to deal with the Purgatrios too. Sphere Kuribo is an option for that. And if you expect Invoked, you just don't go into his second body anyway. You just like have the Ulti Petal Fin, force the Alistair out of the hand, and then have the Laura follow up for next turn. Can we Rat Jam? Absolutely. Rat Jam is 100% allowed. I think I already kind of talked about the Blue Eyes matchup. You just kind of want to do the general game. The general game plan is roughly the same. You search. You kind of need to bait them into triggering D-Draw, which is where the Veils and the Sphere Crews come in handy. If not, then you just go back row. Just play the game. Interact with the Spirit Dragon, try and make sure they don't go into Spirit Dragon, you can set it up, and or just analyze whether or not if you actually want them to go into Spirit Dragon, so you can chase it out, and then like that'll trigger Azure Eyes, and then maybe after the effect is worn off, that allows you to go for your pushes, like if you're playing Thunderspark Dragon, as I mentioned earlier before. Where's that guy? Where's my homeboy? This guy. It's just understanding the matchup. You need to practice, though. Practice your combos, practice your timing, get the timing down for sure. Go over the combos that I have shown you, and just kind of like replicate them. They're very, very simple. Like again, you don't have to play Pangu in the deck to combo off. Like this is kind of the list that I'm more leaning towards right now. No face cam. Well, we're coming back with it too. I'm just kind of wrapping up my little tutorial here, because I have a replay to watch too from Trickstar Fi. I know you can't forget that. The Harpy matchup is kind of interesting because like you can just like FTK them with back row, but if they're playing a Harpy's Underground, then you can no longer do that. Where then if they're playing a Harpy's Underground, then the Destiny Draw version is just better because like Lightning Vortex, you can actually win the game on the spot with it. Lightning Vortex, blow up the board, Laura, Hawk, win the game. There's a lot of grinding that goes involved in it, but you really, ideally with the Harpy matchup, you need to set up double Winda because they'll be able to chase you out, and they might even be able to like Karma Cut or bounce you again afterwards. So making sure you always have double Winda access is very important for that game. Double Winda access is pretty much important for most games now, like most decks nowadays. The Water matchup, very, very interesting because again, it's Water matchup and Harpy matchup kind of plays very similarly, where like your back row can just like FTK them if they don't have Lance, or I guess Harpy could have Swallow's Nest, but you just kind of have to have a good sense of how the match is going to go, what you need to do. Practice, man. Practice, practice, practice. And then But like cards like Needle Ceiling can be pretty good against water too. Peter's Chain's pretty solid. Book of Moon also pretty solid. Beast Dweller and Infantry Pops are very problematic for Winda, but a lot of the time they might not even expect you to be on Winda. If you have if your Destiny draw and you set Winda Pass, they might not even think you're even on. They might not even think you're even on Destiny or on Ritual Beast. They might even think you're on something like Lunalight or a different deck. And they could just like attack. They crash. That can potentially allow you to set up. Like if you have a Tamer in hand, you obviously go into Counterhawk. If they have multiple attacks, just float into another Winda, so that you can end on a Winda if they try to pressure you. If they have multiple back row, and you can sneak in a, like let's say you end on Winda, right? And then you summon Counterhawk, they don't do anything, but they still have a bunch of back rows set. Banish another Winda, so you have double Winda still available. This is just the philosophy for pretty much any matchup. Make sure you have double Winda that you can always take out. And if there's a lot of back row, don't play into it. You don't need to go into a search. You don't have to go into Ulti Counterhawk and you do your fancy search. Because chances are, when you go into your next fusion, it's just going to get hit by a Floodgate or a Fiendish Chain. Fiendish Chain's not as bad, but like a Floodgate, a Karma, you lose your fusion and now you're wide open. So you want to invalidate your opponent's back row as much as possible by forcing them to use it at inopportune times. So Ulti Paleo being 2600 is very good because it means it can beat over a lot of problems. So in the scenario where you have like a Winda on your turn after they set a bunch of stuff, like the CEO first set Winda, and then they set a bunch of stuff, and you can summon a Counterhawk, or if you even have another Winda available, you could just set the other Winda, summon another Counterhawk depending on the situation, and banish another Winda. Just make sure you have a way to get to double Winda. Go straight into Ulti Paleo and force out the back row. Force them to interact with you. Because if you keep applying pressure with the Ulti Paleo, keep attacking, they're eventually going to have to use the back row to chase it out. So if they Karma Cut you during the battle phase before you attack, you just take out the double Winda. On their turn, they have to deal with double Winda. If they can't, you just go back into Ulti Paleo, keep attacking until there's an opening. Until you can get rid of all their back row, or cause their... Basically, that's how you whittle out their grind game. With tackling back row. Is by using like Ulti Paleo. And the ability to tag out. This is the same thing with all the Ritual Beasts. To avoid the back row. That's how you beat these back row like long grind games, is by applying pressure. You don't have to always go for searches unless you're 100% certain that you're going to get away with them, or if you have like a follow-up. Like you go for a search if you have Bond, so that in case like if you do tag out, you don't have another play. But they think you don't have another play, they try to Karma Cut like a Winda. Like if you go Winda, Petalfin, and then they go Karma Cut Winda, you can just like Bond away back into a play. And then at that point it plays around Floodgate too, because they can't Floodgate anything that's at a chain link 2 or higher, which all the tag out summons usually will be. For Ulti Paleo, they can Floodgate it, who cares, you can fuse with them face down anyway, like when you tag out. But you always want to give yourself, basically when you're up against back row, you always want to give yourself a live tag out no matter what the situation is. If they have a chainable back row, and you know it's not like Cosmic or a dead card, like if it's like a Floodgate Trap Hole, Canadia, anything like that, Karma Cut, you always want to make sure you have one tag out available at all times. So to force them to either use it at like inopportune times, and that helps grind you. Because if you just throw your fusion into a Canadia, get split face down, that 400 defense ain't going to be helping you much. So that's what you generally want. That's the general overview of what you want to be doing when playing against like back row with Ritual Beast. Yo bro, Mike Ho, thank you for the gifted sub to MV273. How you doing, homie? We're just kind of like wrapping things up here. Just kind of going over matchups and whatnot, and yeah, just kind of like having final thought, like with the final thoughts. I just woke up. Nice. Yeah, we're just kind of discussing like what you should be doing against certain matchups, against certain scenarios. Yeah, that's basically it. And like obviously you can play Cosmic Cyclone to help with the back row matchups if you really need to, but I don't think you need to right now. I think Cosmic Cyclone is better suited for fighting cards like Poisonous Winds than actual back row cards. Counter traps can be a huge problem for the deck, so I guess it's another reason why you don't want Cosmic Cyclone, but in a Blue Eyes meta, I don't think it's needed quite as much. I guess one last thing I was going to show off before we end this was I'm just going to show a farm deck a version of the deck that you can play to... What is that? Oh, that's just a Vandal, whatever. A version of the deck that you can use to farm assessment score. Lots of get to subs today. Yeah, man, we've been popping. It's been sweet. I ain't complaining. So for this farm deck, you're gonna want like soul absorptions, 3 of them, and I guess we can play like a couple of raws, just to potentially the winged. How many? Yeah, 1 raw, 2 raw, something like this. Oh, we don't play bot though, because that's not how you're winning with these. With this Destiny draw doesn't really matter. Everything else just kind of doesn't really matter. But let's say I just fight. I don't know. Let's fight a. No, you're kind of annoying actually. Let's fight a random pleb who has a shit deck like Joey. This is when whenever those events come around where it's like where you get like points based on assessment score, and then there's like huge multipliers depending on what level and what times, whatever, like ×3 or whatever. This is generally what I tend to play. Basically, you're just trying to stall until you get soul absorption and Wing Dragon Aura. You do have to kind of play a little bit smart with like pedal fin bounces and whatnot, and like depending on what the event is and what the cards in. Just do research on the event first before you actually decide what you're doing. Holy, that's a loud train. Loud train, make me lose my train of thought. Actually, you know what? Screw that. We're gonna get our prismatic assessment bonus here. You get more assessment points by playing like prismatics and glossy cards. But one thing to note too about like these, like when you summon a fusion and tag it back out, it'll always appear at the back of the line basically. So if you're playing like multiple prismats, multiple glossies, and you want those assessment bonuses, this Apelio, Ulti Apelio right here is the one I just summoned and tagged back out. And then these are the new ones in queue. So when I go, if I want it to go into another one, you just keep going to the leftmost one and you'll get the most assessment score out of this. And right now we're just kind of thinking a deck. It doesn't really matter what we do. Because we're really just trying to get to the point where we can summon Raw and just kind of win the game. End of turn. Oh, I should have put a second pedal fin in here actually. It would have made a lot more sense. And all that. Yeah, whatever. It doesn't particularly matter what we're doing here. Really doesn't matter. Just then for soul absorption. Yeah, return for safekeeping. Bash whatever. Eventually he's just gonna start setting things because his life points are in jeopardy. I don't even have to use that right now. Oh, sure. Oh, it was the end of his turn. Okay, cool. Sure. We do that. The only problem about doing this whole thing is it's kind of a process. because you have to do this pretty much over and over again. And then you have to wait for all these little things to go off. Yeah, gain 1,000 here. So we're just trying to put ourselves up to over 10,000 life. Sure. I kind of messed up with the stuff there, but it doesn't really matter. Again, we're gonna have multiple banishes with this Apelio now anyway, so it's like actually fine. Wait, hold on. My assessment score for this. Let's just smack him, I guess, for a little bit. Oh yeah, he has Time Wizard. That's neat. But that's gonna kill him if he gets it right. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Don't you dare do it. Oh my god. That's not good. He's not supposed to do that. We gotta get Time Wizard. Call it right. I swear to god, call it right. Oops. Damn it! Hey, I got Time Wizard. What is this? Okay. No! Alright. I guess I shouldn't have attacked. Not you. You. Whoops! You know what? Let's bring back the overlay now. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, here we go. Damn, that's gonna get out of hand. Just kidding. Hey, that's it. That's it. Easy peasy. I mean, we could do something here, kind of. Just summon the... manage to summon Paleo. Sure, why not? I guess this is kind of a combo we didn't go over as well. But it's not really a combo. It's just if you have, like, Elder... If you go first with Elder, Paleo, Return. Or Winda. It's not really a combo. But it might as well be, I guess, technically. I can search anything I want here. Smash Winda. This is what this would allow you to do. Obviously we get the double Winda here, but if this was Elder, you'd get the tag out into Elder Winda here, and then can wall up with Ulti Petalfin if you were going first, and then you have a banish for the extra boost, 3,300 Petalfin. You'll have the ambush or the return banish plus an Elder Winda banish, and that would kind of let you might be able to let you set up. All right, let's no more Time Wizards, please. Then we just don't attack. There's a Raw. I forgot to tag out too last turn. Oh well. I'm just trying to skim through it real quick because it really doesn't matter. Actually. try this out. Shelter. And we'll be able to kill them next turn. Activate. Oh, we do so much. That's right. Sure, we'll just do you. We pretty much have everything we need for this setup thing. Oh, I've got to grab Pedal Fin. Maybe I don't. Maybe I should have summoned Cannon Hawk there. Oh well. We'll grab this in. Now we just kind of wait. Setting a monster, you're not supposed to do that. It's fine. Alright, so then we just do... This is how we kill them now. Effect, Banish, gain 500. Alright, now this is a very, very incredibly important step right here after we bounce their monster. Pedal Fan. Effect. It's important that we do not tribute summon over Winda, because we get an animation. What's up, Tabor from Another Mother? What's going on, Passing Birds? We are reaching the end of the RB tutorial. And now, yeah, this is that. We can set this, I guess. It's fine. So what is this going to do for the case of farming? Clear attack. Smack. Alright, so what do we get out of it? Why do we do this for farming? Assessment scores? Because that's why. Over 10,000. Let me go over them for you. So, you get 2,000 for winning. You get 1,000 for being on the brink. That's being at 100 life points. The glossy prismatic cards are kind of whatever. That's extra bonus for assessment score, not needed. Yeah, actually, if you take out that amount anyway, like if you take out all the glossy prismatic cards, it's still over 8,000, which is enough to get all of these, all 8 of these treasure boxes. Then we got over 10,000 damage. Gets you 3,000 points. You get a spell, you get a special summon, those are just kind of whatever. Tribute summon for summoning Raw, summoning Divine for summoning Raw, and I guess we have a camping bonus now too. And then you could use result boosters to increase that by another 1,000. This is how I usually farm assessment points for like those events that require getting a lot of assessment score. You need it's 100 points per different glossy you play and 200 points per different prismatic that you play. And because like the whole deck is practically prismatic, that's why we get so many points there for that. But you'll definitely get 200 for playing Raw for prismatic because it's always prismatic. But that's how the farm build for doing farm events and whatnot. I think I would want a second Pedal Fin, but you don't actually need to have a second Pedal Fin. You could cut a return, play 2 Pedal Fin, and then just call this a build. And then the extra deck, Malevolent Sin, doesn't matter, because you realistically not... You can use it, I guess, for additional removal, but you probably won't need to. You just need to Pedal Fin bounce a few times. Having the second Pelifin could potentially allow you to triple bounce, which it does eat your normal summon. So then at that point, you won't be able to summon Ra. But that's that. That is Ritual Beast in a nutshell. A very big, fat, long, almost 3-hour long nutshell. Yeah, this is my favorite deck of all time. That and Gusto. Can I use to level up characters? It's a slow process. You're better off just using an auto duel deck to level up characters. But Winda is a good card to have in your auto duel decks with Altia Paleo, because the AI is at least kind of smart enough to do the right things. They'll tag out when it's being targeted and threatened. They will not tag out under like stuff like Order to Charge, if like the Altia Paleo is being threatened by Order to Charge before you actually attack. It'll very frequently use to set windows to go into an Altia Paleo to start swinging. The this farm build here though, you can use it to skill farm because it gives you a lot of assessment score, but again, it's kind of a process. There are faster ways to achieve this because that really takes long. I would only really play this farm build and when those events that which require getting a lot of assessment score is needed. Usually those are the character events where it's like Shark Fartley comes to the gate and you have to fight him using these rolls of toilet paper or whatever it is. And then it just kind of you do that to like farm assessment score, because you can get the entire event done if you do like level 40 times 3 in like 8 to 10 times, if even that. Sometimes even less, honestly, just by doing this, at least with the prismatics that I have. Yo, Huggleberry, what's going on? How you doing? So yeah, that will conclude the Ritual Beast tutorial portion. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to bring back some of my overlay now. Like the event that's happening right now. No. The event that's happening right now isn't based off assessment score, but you get the you do get the like these whatevers. These, it's called Dual Fuel, which is just a ball of rice, I think. But you don't get benefits off of assessment score. It's just like you get little challenges that you need to do each duel. Destroy a monster. Wow, crazy! Like this right here. That's how you get more spaces to advance. It's not actually based on assessment score, but like the old U-Bell event, the Shark event, those where it's like you have a long list of like the I think the Antinomy event was like that too. I think it's time to stretch and sip. All right, let me get a drink. Thank you for the redemption. Dual Fuel is Pog. I hate the RNG wheel. Yeah, this event I haven't really played a whole lot, but I'll probably do it on my off time. Right, what's this? My overlay.